Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of Time Capsule for 2022 here on the Games Don't Quick Hotfix, the show where we travel back in time to your favorite years in gaming and speedrun our way through popular or influential games released in a particular year. I am your host, Smooth Operative. Apologies, I don't sound particularly smooth today, but as they say, the show must go on, and I am super stoked that all of you are here to join us. We are taking a look at games from the year 2005 tonight with speedruns of Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones, and later, in the spirit of 2005, Shadow of the Colossus. But the prince is waiting, so please welcome our first guest, Vaniv. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back. Vaniv has been a guest here on Time Capsule in the past, and here to show us any percent standard for The Two Thrones. You want to tell us a little bit about the plan here?
Yeah, sure. So last time I did Sands of Time, which is the first game in the trilogy.
Classic.
And this time I'm going to do The Two Thrones, which is the third game. And it has the same big glitch that I used last time. So we're going to zoom through the game super fast. Be a lot of fun. We have a minute cutscene to watch at the very start. So I'll just go ahead and start it now, and then I can talk a bit. So yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, so if you play this casually, there would be like an even longer cutscene here, but we agreed that we're allowed to just like rename the video folder. So any cutscene that is pre-rendered, essentially just like a video file that would play, it's not going to play because we just delete them essentially. And that's for like comfort, and also it makes load deaths more consistent, because if you're on like different languages, it'll take different amounts of time, so it just makes it more fair in that way too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and because of that, there's no audio here as well, which is kind of weird. Like the video, like this is rendered in game, but the audio is part of the video file, so that's why there's no audio here. But we'll get it in a second once my gameplay actually starts.
But this is the time where you can make up like your own fun dialogue. No, where's he taking her?
All right, and we're off.
The prince made his way along the torn and blasted district, haunted by visions from his past.
So the first, if I play well, the first like 8.5 minutes of the game, we don't have the Dagger of Time, which is like the main weapon in the game. Allows you to do like all the powers that you get eventually. So once we get that, we can start using the main glitch in the run called zipping, which I'll talk about at some point. But for the first 8.5 minutes, we just have to play without the rewind time power. We can still do some skips like this one I'm about to do here. So if I get a weird wall run right here, come on, here we go. So I can get down here combined with what we call a safety fall, which is that attack that I did off the wall that just allows me to survive from higher heights when I jump off the wall. And I had to go up this ladder to backtrack for a load trigger that otherwise would have skipped, so this area just like wouldn't be loaded if I didn't do that. And now we can continue without the first weapon of the game, which is just like, it's the fish cutter, they call it.
What a name.
Yeah. It's a really crappy weapon. And not only is it faster overall, like we need to get it later to fix the game so it doesn't crash. And also you wouldn't get the Dagger of Time if we didn't fix it. But it's still faster overall. And it also makes it easier to kind of do the first section of the game, because without a weapon I have 0 auto targeting when there's enemies around. You see, when like I get a weapon, the prince will take out his weapon and it slows you down a bit and can make you like jump off walls and stuff, which I'll probably do at least 2 or 3 times.
Does the prince even bother with like hand-to-hand combat, or he just rolls? He just skips it all?
No, yeah, there's not even meant to be like hand-to-hand in the game.
Yeah, I didn't think
like,
so.
Yeah, when you encounter an enemy for the first time, it's with the fish cutter, so there's never a point where you don't have a weapon, at least normally. You're not supposed to. So I'm just trying to ignore enemies here and get past them very quick. I did a similar like attack off the wall there. That one's called a torpedo, where it's kind of like a straight angled attack. Okay, cool. That can kill you sometimes, so I was trying to be careful. So yeah, I did that torpedo attack just to stun the archer, so it would backflip away from me.
I know these streets. Knew them anyway.
The archers are pretty much like the only true source of RNG in the run. There's some other like minor stuff, but this first segment with the archers, because we actually sort of have to deal with them.
I have a little RNG sprinkled in there just to frustrate the gamers.
Yeah. But overall, there's very little RNG in this run, which is pretty comfortable. In terms of movement, you'll see me like rolling all the time, which you've already seen. As right now I don't have the weapon, so I can't do side rolls, which is the actual fastest form of movement on flat ground like this. So once I get a weapon, I'll start doing side rolls, you'll see. But for now, the fastest is just to keep chaining normal rolls like this.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever works. A couple of people have brought up the Prince of Persia movie. Have you seen it, Beniv? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I thought it was okay.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, it's like, I thought it was worth a watch, but nothing spectacular.
Yeah, fair.
I thought they kind of like underused the whole aspect of the dagger in time and stuff. Like if they did more interesting time travel mechanics, would have been cooler.
Yeah, that actually would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, I think they only rewind time like 3 times in the whole show.
It's like, boo, rewind more. The movie just never ends.
Yeah. Alright. So that jump is really tricky and it saves 9 seconds and you lose like 30 if you die, so that was good.
Someone has asked about you running with keyboard and mouse. Is it a personal preference or is it something for speedrunning purposes it's a bit faster or the like?
For this category, it's kind of objectively better because you need to use the mouse wheel to do inputs, which I'll explain later. But you can like still use a controller. You just have to like switch to the mouse when you need to scroll the wheel.
Oh, right. Okay.
So yeah, it's largely a personal preference, but for this category specifically, it's kind of better.
Cool.
Turn around, Prince. There you go. So this is like the worst spot in the whole game, pretty much, for archers. All right, made it through. Wasn't too bad. Sometimes they can just hit you like 2 or 3 times.
Oof.
And when you get hit on the dagger panel there, which is one reason why I death abused earlier, because now you see I have the weapon there.
Oh, yeah.
So if I didn't have the weapon and I tried to take that dagger panel thing, the game would just crash. So
it's intentional death.
Yeah. There are other spots to get it. You could get it like at the end of this because you can avoid that dagger panel, but that's just ends up being the best time to get it. Cool little skip here. Because of that archer, I can do a safety fall and it'll actually auto target towards the archer and then make me grab the fence there.
Instead, I'm forced to run and hide. Thief, hunted in my own city.
Nice. Actually got that first try. That skip can be really frustrating because it seems to not work unless you wall run against the wall once and then wall run in the corner. Don't really know why.
It's like just Prince of Persia things. I think a lot of games
even the
quirky like that.
even the tool assisted speedrun that I made of this still has to do. I couldn't figure out a way to like make it without wall running in the corner for a little bit.
That's fun. How long did the
really
task
weird.
take you to come up with?
It's a task of the no major glitches category.
Okay.
So yeah, so like this category is called standard, which means just like the base any %. So I can use any glitch that I want to. And we also have zipless, which is the whole game done without one glitch, which I'm gonna explain soon. And then we have the no major glitches, which is the closest we have to glitchless, but you basically can't play this game without coming across some glitches. So we call it no major glitches.
just works for it. I think some things are kind of unavoidable.
I was actually gonna kill that archer because this is another spot where they can ruin your run, but I forgot, so let's hope I just get lucky.
Someone's asking about the planks, and I have to laugh because I think this is just palace design for the level.
Yeah, it's just like the casual climb.
Casual
All right,
parkour
so
palace.
we didn't get hit on the dagger panel, so we're good.
Nice.
Okay, so zipping. Should I explain that now? So we're gonna get the dagger of time now. It happens in a cutscene that's deleted, and the rewind mechanic that you're allowed to use, like that's just a casual thing. You start off with 3 sand tanks, and when it does it, it uses a memory to redo or undo, I guess, the actions that you've done. And if you overload that memory by spamming inputs, which I'll do with the mouse wheel because it's a lot more efficient, then what happens after you've spammed enough, which is about 24, I believe, then the actions will get overloaded and start get amplified. And since you're rewinding, you also ignore collisions, so stuff like this happens.
Oh wow.
So I just like pushed like super far back, and then I did another glitch called a drop glitch. So that zip is complicated because it's combining a couple glitches. But you'll see other glitches where it makes more sense.
They look so cool,
So
though.
yeah, like there's a checkpoint there that just allowed me to die and then reload to continue. Can the screen stop shaking? There we go. So I just collected up to 3 sand again there now. And then I can zip all of these. And thankfully you still hit load triggers when you're doing this glitch called zipping. So that's why like the area went black back there. So I hit the next corresponding load trigger. So I'm gonna do a similar thing here. I'm gonna fall in here to hit one load trigger and then do a jump attack, which zips down and then up to hit a second load trigger. And then one last zip over here. Nice. All right, cool.
The zips look so awesome, though. Like he's glitching in and out of existence. It's like so wild. Like, it looks really cool.
So here we can see what a drop glitch is without zipping. So if you throw your weapon as you fall off a ledge, then you can fall like this. And since you're throwing your weapon, the game still considers you to be on the ground. So you don't, like the fall timer to take fall damage and die doesn't start. So yeah.
Clever.
And you can combine that with zipping like I've been doing by zipping to that point where you're throwing your weapon, and then you'll just fall down and you can survive. So I'll use it again here. It's a very common zip, throw weapon, backflip. So it gives you that distance to go back, and then the throw weapon can let me fall down so I don't take fall damage and die. And here so normally when you do the jumps, you do have to time your release because the fall damage will still kill you if you don't time it properly. But for this zip specifically, the distance just happens to be equal to the distance that the zip goes, so it's really nice. I just did like a block jump there because of that.
Convenient.
For this one, like if I need to get to a specific height, I'll do a jump attack, because the longer you delay the attack, the different height you'll get. So I just zipped over here to get a checkpoint again at that fountain, and then I can just rewind back, use all my sand so I die faster, and then we can load back up where that fountain was.
That's amazing.
It's
This
actually
looks
like
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's actually a new strat that I came up with like probably like a month ago
Well
now.
done.
And now I have one more sand left, and you're probably wondering how we're going to like have enough sand to just zip the whole game. And the answer lies at the sand gate. So if you don't know this game casually, there are these sand gates that we'll see in a second, the first one. And they're all guarded by the red guard. So you have to kill that guard to avoid reinforcements being sent. And the nice thing is that guard also has a special sword that regenerates sand. So I'm gonna kill that red guard first, kill this guy because I need him out of the way. Grab the red guard's sword, so this sword regenerates sand. So now we can literally just keep this sword, as long as I don't make any mistakes, for the whole run and have it regenerating sand so we can zip everywhere. And sometimes the routing will look really strange, like why didn't I just go down here first? And the answer is pretty much always load triggers. So like I had to go up to that balcony first to hit a load trigger, and then I could go down here to zip to the first chariot here.
Oh, right. There's like this whole chariot scene. I forgot about this.
Yeah, there's two of these in the game. They're
Right.
essentially auto scrollers. It's nothing. I'll try there's actually a trick you can do here to save a second if I can get it. And it also looks pretty funny, so I'll try to do it.
Sure.
But there's another glitch that we don't use a lot in this category. It's used in the zipless category, because there are a lot of other glitches in this game, but the most powerful one and fastest one is zipping. So in this category, that's the main thing we use. But there's also this thing called rewind tricking, which the basic explanation of it is just rewinding multiple times to the same frame. And that can let you redo actions. So if I do it while crashing into this wall, I'll hopefully, yes, do that. Nice. So I kind of like backed up the memory to before I was dead, and that allowed me to survive hitting the wall and just go through it like that.
Well done.
And the best thing about that is that your chariot is now broken, as you can see.
It's like extreme shades.
Not only looks funny, and since I did that in 2 sand, which is the minimum that you need to do a rewind trick, is rewinding twice, that actually did save a second, so nice.
We made it! Hold your horses! Come on!
So yeah, it's a really solid start. From the beginning of the run till now is like one of the hardest points in the whole run, basically.
Bright and vibrant streets of
Reset
Babylon
tons of
now stand
times.
all
Oh, I
deserted,
bet. Jeez.
its inhabitants either dead
It's like
or
the first
fled.
roughly like 18 minutes
Those
of
left
the
behind
run.
suffered terribly, captured, tortured.
So if I'm
and
at like, yeah, see the
transformed.
timer there. So yeah, I'm at
But
like
the
a really
prince
good
did
time
not
right now.
notice this. So focused was he on the vizier.
So this is another point where the jump height is equal to the zip height, so I just fully zip the jump there, and I don't die from fall damage.
Oh man, he gone.
And zip can be really annoying because there's a lot of like tiny things that can cause it to fail. But I got it first try. Let's go.
Let's go. Someone's asking if this is the same prince from Sands of Time, and I believe it is, yes. Since I think the start takes place directly after Warrior Within.
Yeah, it's Sands of Time and then Warrior Within with the true ending where you like, spoiler alert, kill the Dahaka. And then this game.
Classic.
So this is like, if you know this game casually, this is a point where you would normally turn into the Dark Prince, but it's faster just to zip through it.
I always had anxiety playing as the Dark Prince because you have to like do things quickly, or like the sand will run out or something like that.
Your health
will run out. That's what it is.
Yeah. In this game, unlike the Sand Wraith in the second game, this one will actually kill you if your health runs out. So yeah, I missed a load trigger on that zip somehow. I'm not really sure how. Let's try it again. Really? Again? Try going a little bit more to the right here. There we go.
Babylon's defenders still live. The city is not yet taken. Perhaps
it's basically like the main limitation with the zipping glitch. Since you have to still hit the load triggers to load the next areas, everything in the game isn't loaded at once because that would take way too much memory. So we have to still hit load triggers along the way.
Are the setups all just kind of like approximate? Like, could you get a zip in a couple of different places, or does it have to be like super precise?
There's like, yeah, it just depends on the zip really. Some are like really precise, but others are more lenient. Like that one's not very precise because I have like a big platform to land down there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And the ones where like you're just zipping straight, like we try to route it so that you can do zips quickly, like that one. Like there's no aiming required. I can just zip straight forward. But we can't always avoid that. Like for this one, I have to aim it with the first-person camera. And this one's especially weird because I need to, as long as I do it properly, I'm actually going to do that and time it so that when I did the jump attack zip, I released it during the down portion of that zip, so I actually went like underneath the ground to fall down to hit a load trigger. And then I was able to continue the zip to get back up. And then for like this zip, for example, is very precise, so that's why I'm struggling with the camera. Come on, there we go. Well, it's a very precise load trigger that'll be hit with that jump attack. So you'll see the whole area disappear if I get it. Nice. So yeah, it really just depends on the zip.
Well, I mean, I think it's just really amazing to see this game, especially, like, you know, there's glitches in games, but there's just something about Prince of Persia. It's very nice to watch.
Yeah, this is like one of like the best glitches in terms of not only is it crazy fast, but it can also work as its own debug system, because you can use it to like jump up in the air and look at like where you need to go and try to improve zips and such.
Oh yeah, nice.
The zip, I just do like a bunch of steps towards the door to actually zip those steps itself, so I can just change my angle towards the door. Because the only like direction that matters when you're zipping is the one you're facing when you start zipping, if that makes sense.
Sarah and I went through so much together. Though she may not remember, I can never forget.
This one is really precise attack timing. Can be kind of annoying, but I got it. Nice. Another thing you can do with the inputs, which I just did there, hopefully I got it. Okay, I kind of messed it up. Normally what I do is just scroll blocking for a bit, like so, and then I'll do walking steps like that at the end. Specifically because you can't rewind if you're blocking. So if I try and like start the rewind while I'm spamming the block, sometimes it won't happen, because if you're blocking and try to rewind, the other powers that you get later in the game prevent that from working.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so, but another thing you can do is what I call hyper blocking, which is, it's very simple, but we didn't know about it until like this year actually. It's just holding a direction while you're spamming block, and what that allows you to do is spam like alternate block step, and so it essentially allows you to spam the inputs twice as fast, because normally it would have to be like a block input and then empty frame, block input, empty frame. But if you use hyper blocking, then you're doing block input step, block input step. And since they're different, you can do it like that. So you can spam at 60 inputs a second instead of 30.
Cool.
So it can actually save, when I do it, it saves a second on a zip that I do it, almost. But the only zips that are like comfortable and like, it's risky to do it on like a big zip, because it's very prone, since you're doing the inputs so quickly, you're prone to actually doing too many inputs, which you can do. If you do too many, then the zip fails and you break the memory further, and you just don't go anywhere. The print kind of just freezes. I'll probably do it at some point in the run.
Oh.
So you don't want that to happen. So I essentially only use it if like it's a 1 or maybe 2 input zip. So if it's like a jump, then I'll use it. Oh, I missed the load trigger. Haven't done that in a while. So load down there. You can see what I did back at that. This is what I did earlier to fall underneath the ground and hit a load trigger and then come back up. It's not ideal, but should be okay. Yeah, okay. So I was spamming jump there because sometimes the prince likes to try to keep throwing his weapon away. But if you jump while you're throwing the weapon away, you'll cancel it. So I just kind of spam jump in case he's gonna throw the weapon. And right here, and sometimes I'll actually throw the weapon just for the distance, because it does zip you back a bit. So right there, I'm not actually drop glitching. It failed that time because this game is dumb. But can you get back? Thank you. Yeah, it does zip you back a bit. So it's supposed to just let me grab that ledge. Try it again. There we go. That's better. Here's one rare instance where we're going to use a different glitch in the game called a rewind extension. It looks kind of similar to a rewind trick, but it only uses one sand. It's just a quirk with the animation of attacking when you're wall running. So if you just rewind like that, you can get it to extend the wall run like that. It's kind of weird.
Excellent.
But useful there. Only time we ever use it. So on this zip, since it's just a jump, this is a spot where hyper blocking, so you can probably see how much faster the inputs were there. It's kind of hard to tell if you're not used to the game, but trust me, that was like almost double the speed as it normally takes.
A couple of folks have been commenting on the elegance of the wrist roll, which you must have been practicing quite a bit.
Yeah, so that's why I thought doing a mouse cam would be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Good choice.
Depending on how I'm doing the zipping pattern and also the specific area, There's different ways that I can do the inputs that I require. And hyper blocking looks different too. For hyper blocking, I'll just do like one slow scroll backwards, but the standard one is what I just did there, which is like 2 scrolls backward, which is what I have bound to my blocking. And then I move forward for the walking steps. If I line this up properly, this area should disappear. Perfect. Not perfect. Nah, I can't fix it. There's a checkpoint right there, though, so it's not too bad. The zip can be really dumb because of animation canceling. So if you like, it's most obvious if you do a normal roll. If you like do an input as you're rolling to cancel it part way, it'll do less distance because you like literally cut the animation of the roll short. So you see there, like the first time I went a bit further, and that's because of the side roll.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I try, like I'm trying to animation cancel it, but I didn't do it very well the first time. So I went too far, but that time I got it to animation cancel enough so I didn't go too far. And then that allowed us to just, since I jumped up to hit that low trigger, we could just do a backflip zip across and continue. So a lot of points where you seemingly do like random backtracks or even random extra inputs to the zips, and it's always to hit load triggers. So when I like hung off the edge there, that's to hit a load trigger. And then also this zip, like you might think I could just zip straight ahead, but there's a load trigger in the air that I have to hit. So I do this fancy jump attack to hit it, and then I can drop it down so I don't die from the fall damage. That should hit the load trigger, so the next area will be ready. Beautiful.
Oh, there's so many like gotta go, my people need me moments. It's making me laugh.
Yeah.
Also, I guess I should let everyone know that coming up soon, this weekend, Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online, live this Sunday, January 9th. We're starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're enjoying this run, why not come and see a week of speedruns here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel? You can go to gamesdonequick.com for more info on that.
Sometimes you miss the load there and the area doesn't disappear and you have to climb back over. Got it that time.
Nice.
Have to backtrack enough without making mistakes. It's annoying to have to backtrack even more.
Reasons for being here are hardly selfless.
You do not know my
With zips like that, you might think I would die from that because I did like 2 jumps, so like you're really high in the air. But the game only considers like the final jump to calculate like the fall damage timer, I guess you'd call it. So like since the first imp I did was just a neutral jump, I could still time it properly so that I don't die from the fall damage.
Right.
Because when you're zipping, obviously the inputs are always coming out in reverse. So the first input I did, which is the neutral jump, is the last input that's zipped. So I used it to not die from fall damage.
Does that get confusing to like remember the order of things like that?
Just about remembering the inputs for the zip.
Oh,
so
okay.
like I'm like extremely used to it
Oh,
now,
right,
so it
yeah.
doesn't bother me. But when you're first starting out, it could be kind of confusing. The zip has a very particular setup that still fails some of the time. I've went through like 3 different setups for this zip. This is the fastest one, but probably the most inconsistent, but it's still pretty good. But of course it failed that time. Try it one more time. If it fails again, I'll do slightly slower route. So I'm doing the same thing here, like I do an extra jump. And the reason I'm doing the extra jump is for a load trigger. There's one right past the wall there. Oh, come on. Let's see if I can fix that. I think it's slightly too far to the left there. Right, if that doesn't work, I'm giving up. Really? All right.
Someone made the comment earlier,
Backup rope.
Prince of Persia, space and time, and it made me laugh.
Yeah, like if you think about it, you literally are teleporting because no time has passed since you did the zip and appeared at the next location. So yeah, it's essentially a teleport. Haven't done this in forever, I think. It's like that.
Adaptive strats.
Okay, not quite, but I think it's still okay. There's enemies that would come eventually, so I'm trying to go fast. Alright, that's fine.
Are you at the mercy of like how many sand tanks that you have to like perform some of these? Like, do you know what I mean?
A little bit, like
okay.
we used to get, like, back when I got this sword that regenerates my sand, the sand gate that I just ignored, if you take it, it would give you a 4th sand tank.
Okay.
So if you want an extra one, you can get it. But after running this so many times, it just doesn't feel worth it to me anymore. So I just skip it to save like the 3 seconds it takes to get.
Yeah, every little bit helps. Time save.
Since the sword regenerates so quickly, like it doesn't really help you in terms of doing the zips. But if you make a mistake and you want to try, oh, that missed the load trigger. Wow. Okay. If you make a mistake and you want to try and fix it with the rewind trick, which is what I did at the chariot to break it, to like sometimes I'll like mess up the timing to not die from fall damage, for example, and then you can fix that with a rewind trick. But since you only have 3, you need to get it within 3 for it to work. Otherwise, you'll fully die.
Oh, right. And then, you know.
So that's one reason why it can be nice to have 4. But yeah, just, you know, don't make mistakes and then you're fine. All right, so I actually hit the load trigger. That's like the first time I ever missed that load trigger in a run. So I was really surprised. It basically needs to be like the highest jump dagger timing that you can get, so it can be really annoying, but I got that one first try. That's sweet. That's not ideal, but that's okay. I was trying to land up there because there's still a load trigger I need to hit, but I can just do a quick extra zip here. That should hit the load. Did I hit it? Yeah, okay. And now the cutscene should trigger. There we go. So this is the golem, I guess. Kind of a boss, not really. It's like the easiest boss in existence. Just gonna wait a little bit so he doesn't jump, and then 3 attacks and goes down. To be fair, we're also on easy mode, which if you didn't notice, I started the game on easy, basically because like we don't have like a hard mode category, because like nothing changes basically in any of the categories. The only category where it would change a little bit is the no major glitches category, but it's still like hardly not much at all. So there's just like not much reason to have more categories for the difficulties.
Yeah. As long as like everyone's in agreement on that, then it's usually fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just play on easy. 'Cause there's no reason not to. You might be thinking that hitting the walls back there is whoa. Okay. Cool game. is slower, but the game does this weird thing where if you don't hit any walls while doing that, eventually you'll go too fast for the game to handle, and then it'll start slowing you down. So the first hit on the wall is to avoid that, and the second hit is actually just to take the corner more sharply, so it ends up being faster still. So you have to be bad and hit walls to go fast there.
Someone was asking about the like jittery movement of like the prints. Are those all part of the zips?
I think it's the steps that they're referring to.
Is it the steps? Okay.
I think so. So like I'll point it out here. I think what you're talking about is at the end of my inputs, I'm always doing just normal steps because you can't rewind if you're blocking. So like I'll do my inputs that I want to zip, and then I'll spam block, and then these steps right there. Those are just
okay.
Like it's equivalent to just spamming. That's not good. No, I can't fix that. Yeah, I just have to die. It's equivalent to just like spamming W like really, really fast.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
So if you did that, that's what it would look like. Yeah.
I'm asking too many questions.
No, it's all good. Honestly, probably shouldn't even like went for that that zip because it's kind of dumb. The timing is, or the throw weapon is for the distance again. So like the distance you're trying to get is really precise. And we do that big rewind to avoid the enemies that are normally down here. So I'll do an alternate route this time though. And if there's furniture around, like right there, I do different zipping inputs again, because if you block, you'll start to face the furniture, which is not good.
No furniture shopping today.
No. That's why I destroyed those 2 vases there, because it would mess up the angle of my zip. So low trigger back there that I have to hit. There we go. Right, so this is where that zip I failed was supposed to land me. And luckily we can come down here. Sometimes there's death planes, so you can't like just fall down to out of bounds areas. But here it's all safe, so you can just come down here and then zip back up. This is the best way to get out of there.
I must hurry and find a way inside.
A little minor glitch here too. We actually allow this in the no major glitches category. So on the pole, if you just like start swinging on poles like that and then drop immediately, you drop slightly further than you otherwise would. We don't really understand why. I assume it's some sort of like just continuing the momentum, so like the fall damage starts a little bit lower. But yeah, it allows you to survive, to land on that little wooden thing there to get down nice and quick. There's a big puzzle here that takes forever, but the teleport to start the chariot is right past this wall. So I just do that zip and then boom.
Shall I continue my story from here?
I think you're taking this hero business a little too far. You've already saved the citizens.
And since I hit both load triggers earlier, the chariot starts immediately, which is super nice. If you miss, you can miss one load trigger back there and it's still okay, but you just have to wait a bit of extra time for the chariot to start. So it's just nice time save there.
Oh, I just noticed that beautiful rainbow. How pretty.
Wait, where was that?
It was like when you went through, you were like on the chariot and you were like going over like a rock or something, and it was just like this beautiful waterfall and rainbow, and I'm like, oh, how did I miss that?
Oh yeah, I think you know what you're talking about.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, okay. Cool.
I kind of zone out when I do the chariots now. So.
Oh yeah, I was like, wait, what? Where is the rainbow?
Let me try and get the broken chariot again. Nice, got it. That one didn't save time. That was just for fun.
You know, the prince, when he's like this, it actually reminds me of a scene in the Tomb Raider movie where she's like with these husky type dogs in the snow, and she's just on her feet, and these dogs are just like going.
Oh, yeah.
He's just doing it here on the sand with these horses.
Yeah, it's like, I forget what it's called. When you're like attached to a boat and you like ski on the water, basically.
Yeah.
Water skiing?
Oh yeah, water skiing.
Water skiing, yeah. It's like that, except on the ground, so
magical. Yeah.
probably hurts his feet, but it's all good. So yeah, we haven't even like been seeing the bosses in this game because we just zip past them immediately. But this is a boss that we actually have to start since it's attached to the chariot. So you can't zip during the chariot. Even if you were able to like spam inputs somehow, you still like, the chariot just like pulls you back after you do a zip.
I will admit, I was not expecting that.
So yeah, so we have to start this boss fight, then I'll immediately zip out of the arena, which the best input to do that is actually an attack from the axe twin. So I get hit and then do my inputs a little faster, or a little more, I mean. That should be enough. Hyperblocks, like before hyperblocks were a thing, it was a bit harder to fit the inputs in that. But now with hyperblocks, it actually makes it a lot easier. So that's one spot where I use them.
This is a funny one.
Yeah, the camera gets really annoying here, but you just have to line up a simple zip to get out here. So this is the area that it sends you after the fight. And also there's a Dark Prince trigger right there, so I'm trying to be careful not to hit it. But I needed to hit the load trigger that was back there, and then I can zip away.
So as long as you hit the load trigger, you don't have to bother. Like it'll just count as like a boss KO.
Yeah, like it won't even.
Yeah,
like
won't
you
even
don't
bother.
need to kill the boss for anything to continue in the game. As long as you hit the load triggers for the areas to be there, you can just go. So I missed one there that normally gets hit in the zip, but I can just backtrack to grab it and then continue.
Sweet.
So there is a one zip for this elevator section that I could have done back down there, but it's really frustrating to get it to line up perfectly. So I just do this second best method, which is one zip to hit that, and then I do 4 jumps here to just zip all the way to the top of this elevator. You can see how high up this is. It takes 4, and remember they're zipped jumps, so like one of them is already really high up. Nice. That zip's always really nice to get first try, because it's like everything about that is really precise, like the side roll, the angle that you start, and then also the jump attack timing to get the right height.
Yeah, a lot of practice, I'm sure.
Yeah. So in the zipless category of this game, there's the main glitch you use in that is what's called the menu glitch. And the menu glitch itself is just this. So you open the menu and then you kind of like reopen it with a certain pattern, and then you can get it to overlay your gameplay like this. And then using that, you can do a lot of boosts and stuff. But in this category, all I'm using it for is to zip the frozen animation in the menu. And when you zip that, you go down really, really far. So I just zipped super far down, bypassing the entire well, which is very crazy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy that you haven't even done anything with the Dark Prince. Like,
Yeah, we skip every different section.
It's actually so nice.
Yeah. Yes, like if you know this game casually, like that well section normally takes a long time.
Oh yeah.
So like if you see like how far down you're actually zipping, and you notice I do a jump too, so like I'm actually even going down further than ground level to line up the exact height that I need to land at. Before that, we would actually like land a bit higher up, and then we would have to drop glitch the rest of the way down. But I found a setup using that jump to actually go right down to the bottom to grab that checkpoint immediately. So this area, casually you would watch a cutscene and then get your father's sword, which has a glowing effect to it, and so it lights up the darkness area here. But we're just gonna zip past it, obviously. So we just have to navigate this area in the darkness, which is not that bad. Bonked on something there, I don't know what.
It looks like there's a couple of things for reference visually.
Yeah, when there's a fountain around, but here there's going to be complete darkness. Oof. So, but like we have like setups here, so I know like what to do to set up the zip to get out. I'm just gonna wait here to make sure I don't zip anything that I did previously. And then zip 2 backflips with a little extra walking movement. Right. That's basically darkness, so now we can see the light out here.
A couple of people have been asking about just like glitches and the discovery of some of the glitches. How long have you been running this game, Viniv? And can you tell us maybe a little bit about your experiences with the game in speedrunning?
I think like since 2015 I'm running this game. And yeah, when I first started, it was a little bit after zipping was found. So the kind of progression was, to me, was kind of improving a lot of zips. And back then we were also not using blocking inputs to overload the rewind system. So everyone was kind of like doing steps back and forth to do it.
Ah, okay.
Which also works, but it's not as efficient. So I'm not sure what happened there. I'm just gonna let myself die. Try again. So yeah, like the zips have been improved over and over again. Like it's an endless cycle of optimization. There we go. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen. I'm not sure what went wrong the first time. So yeah, I'm not sure specifically what the question is asking about. But
I was just, I mean, you pretty much answered it. I just was wondering, like, what, you know, your experiences were in the Prince of Persia, like, gaming community and, you know, getting to know the game itself and performing the glitches, practicing and stuff. So I think you covered some of that, so thank you.
Yeah. So I started, most people actually don't like the zipping categories, so they kind of gravitate towards the categories zipless and no major glitches.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the few that really love zipping, so I started with the zipping categories, and then I eventually went to zipless and no major glitches because those are fun as well. But zipping will always hold a special place in my heart because it's so fast.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool looking, the zipping, but zipless is also really entertaining to watch, so I like both.
Yeah, a lot of people say they love like watching zipping runs, but they don't like performing them because it can be very frustrating to get the consistency required to like finish runs and then push your time to get like sub an hour and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're approaching. Oh wow, actually went too far. So we're approaching the end of the game here. So we got a bit to go, but like all the very difficult zips are done with. These are kind of the so-called tower zips, which this zip actually been improved recently. I used to go a bit further and then aim it, but you can actually just do it straight from the wall if you do it back here. Oh, except I got a game crash that time. Fantastic. That's the first time I ever crashed there.
Oh, no worries. These things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a too high octane for the game.
Hopefully I have a save there somewhere.
Well, while Vaniv is loading back up, I want to let you know that we have a highlights command in the Twitch chat. It's !highlights. And you feel free to use that if you want to know about our highlights channel, where you can find smaller highlight reels of all of our hotfix shows, including the main events. And it looks like we're back.
Yeah, so this isn't exactly what I have the dad sword now because that's what the save has, but it's all right. I'll just deal with it. So I gotta like collect some sand here. Definitely not expecting a crash there. Like if I died, it would have been fine because there's checkpoints with the fountains. But yeah, I was not expecting to crash. Try this again. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Yeah, totally fine that time. Good game. There's tons of random spots where the game has crashed like once in my entire career of running this game. So it's not totally unexpected for it to just crash like somewhere, but it's very rare. Trying to be very careful here because there is a this area there is a known crash here. If I zip too far and go behind that wall where those vases are, the game would crash. So trying to be very careful there. What's my sand at? I just used a sand there because if you have 0 or 1 sand, you're guaranteed sand from every furniture item. So I can just waste a sand and then fill up like that. The save also has 4 sand tanks that I was mentioning. If you get that first sand gate, you can get 4 sand tanks.
The extra one.
Let's not use the extra one because I know I would be cheating. Just get to 3. Yeah, the game crashed, so I had to load a backup save, which didn't have the red guard sword. Has the sword that you normally have casually here, which is the dad sword.
Right.
And you're not like allowed to throw this away or anything, so you're essentially stuck with this till the end of the game. Which only matters for this one zip that I'm gonna do now, because normally what I would do is a throw weapon backflip because that's the perfect distance. But instead I'm gonna have to like use walking inputs. So I'll try it here. Oh wait, actually I only have 1 sand. Let me get this first. There's 3 zips left, assuming I don't make a mistake, so I need to fill up. It's only like a tiny distance. Nice, perfect. Alright, so this is where the final boss is, the Vizier. But there is a trigger in the air, just chilling randomly in the air, that loads the mental realm, which is the final area. I missed it there, but I'll get it this time. So you can just hit that, and then it'll take you to the mental realm. Oh yeah, I can't do that. I was trying to do a glitch you can normally do, but you have to enter this area with the red guard sword in order to do it, so can't do it. Normally you can, like, if you enter this area with the red guard sword, or just like any secondary that's not the dad sword, then what happens is you can do a roll and then like pick up the secondary that's in your primary hand, which is very weird. But what it allows you to do is one hit KO the Dark Prince at the start there, which saves a little bit of time. It's pretty nice.
He's like, you couldn't escape me the whole run, everybody. The Dark Prince is here.
Yeah, that's the dude that skipped. That's why I don't have the cloth costume anymore either, because like, since we skip all of them and we skip the cutscene that initially removes the cloth costume, we keep it the whole run. But since I had to load the save did some Dark Prince section, so I think this is either a zipless save or an NMG, which is no major glitches, different category save.
Did I unblock your path? Take down your enemies. Remind you of your mission. While all you did was cry about your father and Kylina and Farah. How everything bad always happens to you. Boo-hoo!
There are actually skips for these like little slow-mo sections, but they're too precise to perform fast enough to actually save time, so I usually go for them.
Yeah, but not too much worth it.
Yeah, I think if you do it like perfectly, it saves maybe half a second.
No, I have seen the error of my ways, and I have atoned for the transgressions of my past. I am no longer that person.
Seasons change.
Alright, last skip of the run.
People
3
never
steps.
change. You
Jump.
delude yourself believing otherwise.
Sick.
Fight. Set down your sword. Embrace me. Do you need to kill me then? To cut me down like all your other enemies?
Normally you can buffer attacks into that cutscene to go a bit further, but I missed it.
Madness and cruel intentions. You must not chase this shadow.
Alright, so end time is coming up.
Wake up. I will lead you.
Another cutscene here, and then as soon as I get to the top of these stairs and the prince stops moving, that's time.
Really changed. After all,
So
I'm still
right
right here, standing
there,
before you.
time.
No, what are you doing? Do not ignore.
Hour 4, nice, that's pretty good.
Nice.
Basically that crash lost sub-hour.
Yeah, well, I mean, these things happen, and especially like in a marathon, there's always a moment where it's like, well, that's never happened before.
Yeah, for sure.
But wow,
That's still really good.
still that was really great to watch. I enjoyed myself there, so thank you for showing that off, Eve.
I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
show off a really ridiculous thing if we have a second.
Oh yeah, sure, go for it.
It shows you the ridiculousness of zipping here.
Just when you thought he could go no further, the prince attempts one last zip.
Ladders are very weird, and on this ladder, if you
Oh my gosh.
zip it like so, I can actually turn it into an elevator. So now this ladder is now an elevator.
He's done it again, folks. He's done it again.
Unfortunately, you can't go up forever because there's a ceiling, but it's still really funny.
That's epic. Thank you so much, Vaneev, for showing this game off. Do you have any
Hope
comments,
everyone enjoyed.
shout outs, or anything you'd like to mention before we hop over to the next game?
Just shout outs to the whole Prince of Persia community. They're amazing.
Nice.
And if anyone's interested in learning any of the Prince of Persia games, the whole trilogy, also like the old 2D games, and then there's the newer 2008 and Forgotten Sands. They're all on speedrun.com. We have Discord and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of good
Thanks
people.
for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
A lot of good people in the Prince of Persia community. And if you did enjoy this run, everyone, please make sure you follow Vaneve here on Twitch. I imagine you'll be streaming more of the Prince in his various forms.
Yeah, I've been grinding the no major glitches category of this game, but also doing zipping runs every once in a while.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll probably start up now that the break is over.
Excellent. Well, I hope some of y'all or all of y'all will check that out. But right now, we're going to get ready and set up for the next game, which is Shadow of the Colossus. But I just want to let y'all know that all revenue this month after taxes that GDQ earns from subscriptions and bits for this whole month of January will be donated to the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and that is gearing up for AGDQ. So, yeah, we'll be right back with Shadow of the Colossus. All right, everybody, welcome back to Time Capsule. We are all set up for Shadow of the Colossus, which may be a little bit shinier than usual for 2005 terms, but please welcome Ruby Hart. Ruby, would you like to introduce yourself and your commentators for the night?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tippy. Well, hey, everyone. My name is Ruby Hart. I use they, she pronouns, and I am a professional actor, streamer, and speedrunner, primarily of this game. And I would love for the couch to be able to introduce themselves. So, guys, take it away.
Hey everybody, Big B's here. I'm a actor, streamer, aspiring speedrunner, just a wee babe in that last one. He, him pronouns, and ready to do this.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, I'm Dan Pyun. I am also a performer, streamer. I am also an aspiring speedrunner, also in the wee baby category. My pronouns are he, they, and I'm really excited to be here tonight.
Heck yeah. And finally,
hi, my name is Stephen Dewey. I am a variety streamer. I am also legally now an Untitled Goose Games speedrunner with Ruby and by myself, and also very excited for Shadow.
heck yeah. So I'm going to be running the category that is the entire game start to finish. So I'm going to be starting with a fresh file on any % normal and going all the way until Wander hits the final pool. So the timer is going to go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Or should I say break a leg?
Oh man, I feel like either one is very appropriate, and a broken leg would not interfere with this run in any way, shape, or form. I only need my hands. So for those of you who may not be as familiar with Shadow of the Colossus, it originally came out in the year 2005, which is why it's part of this time capsule, and was basically released on the PS2 as a lower graphics version than they wanted to release initially with gen design because of how good it was at the time. Then it got a HD remaster that came out with the first game in the series, Eco, on a 2-game disc for PS3. And then many years later, in 2018, Bluepoint released this ground-up remake that is just absolutely breathtaking with all new graphics and everything else. I'll get a bit more into some of the differences between the different variety, the versions of the game later. But we are actually about to already hit the first Colossus. So basic synopsis of this game. You play as this guy named Wander, who is in this place only known as the Forbidden Land. No! Well, I already missed the first strat, that's fine. So basically you play as Wander, and you have this dead girl with you named Mono. You ask this deity that resides here, only known as the Doorman, hey, can you bring this dead girl back to life? And Dorman says, yeah, but only if you kill these 16 colossi that are stealing my power first. So a lot of this game is left to implicit storytelling. I'll get more into that later, but that's the general synopsis of what you need to know. And while I do this fight, I'm going to turn it over to my couch so that I can focus.
All right, everybody. The first Colossus is Valis, who I have nicknamed the Berenstein Bear. He has a fantastic beard. and I believe he uses Maybelline as the product. What Ruby is gonna do now is triggering this kneel so they can hop on the leg. And once this cutscene is over, the strat is to climb up that beard, get on top, give some knife kisses to the top of the head, and pretty much, I mean, for the most part, as long as Ruby doesn't get pulled off, I mean, shaken off, because they're using what we call a plant, which is a grab on the Colossus that can't really be shaken off if they like shake their head or anything. So as you saw, it was a quick climb up, you know, run up the Maybelline beard, stab in the head, kiss one time for good night, and moving on to the next one.
Your knife kisses comment made me crack up so much that I forgot to do a jump stab. You're that funny that you're making me forget. No, you're fine. You're fine. That was so funny. So a few things just I want to add on. So one thing that's really great about that strat of getting Valis to go to the knee is I can actually climb onto the beard just because during that cutscene, Wander can move. So there are some cutscenes in this game where we can actually use moving in them to our advantage as speedrunners. And there are other times where you can't move in a cutscene, so you want to make sure beforehand you're in the right position. With the Valis cutscene, that is one of those instances where as Valis is kind of collapsing downwards, you can then climb just directly to his face, just by using that cutscene and the fact you can move in it to your advantage. And I'm gonna be heading to one Colossus next that I'm really excited about. It has one of my favorite strats in the game that I call the What's Up Danger Jump, based on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you have not seen it, cannot recommend it enough. I'm just gonna straight up turn it over to the couch since there's not much transition time here. We'll have more time between Colossi as the run gets a little later, but these first few Colossi are all very close together, so it's gonna be pretty quick going fight to fight. So I believe, Dan, you have this one,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Yeah, go for it.
You can actually already see the area where Quadratus is living. You'll see it come out in a second. One thing you're going to notice that's happening so far is there's an opportunity to skip the cinematic sequences because they are not a part of the in-game clock that we use to get the final time at the end. So right here in this moment, you're going to watch Agro the horse do a little freak out there. That'll start this cutscene right here, and now Ruby's going to go ahead and skip it. This has to do with the way that Agro starts movement. So skipping the cutscene at that moment after doing a rear back lets them move forward here. They're going to target a ledge to do a little quick jump down. Nice, and if you're ready for it, what's up, danger? Yeet.
Yep, and the cutscene starts.
Perfect.
Yeah, there it is, there it is.
Perfect, and now with that timing, already there, the plant, perfect in position. Ooh.
Hang on, may not be perfect.
Maybe
in
not
position.
perfect, but
hang on.
So you will notice here that it looks like Wander is a little bit far away from the sigil. This particular sigil has a really wide hitbox, so the plant that you can get is a little bit more distant, but you can still do the hits from it even at that distance and it still registers. All right, that's one of them. This Quadratus has a second sigil on the back. The Ruby's just gonna go straight to the back, leaping over the spine, and quick and done. Another quick little cycling.
It should be quick and done. I didn't have the plant initially when you said it, but directly afterwards I got it, which is why I was like, let's not count our chickens before they hatch, but that was a really solid Quadratus. Oh, that scared me. Okay, this is fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, that's Quadratus. And the really interesting thing about this Colossus in particular is sometimes when you are playing the any percent, so the full start to finish version of the game, versus the time attack, where after you beat it once, you can kneel in front of the statues in the main temple and just do time attacks, fighting each of the Colossi one by one without any of the travel time. So the two main categories we speedrun, there are a bunch of others, but the main ones that are used usually for this game are any percent and boss rush. And a few of the Colossi, the strats are completely different. Most of them are the same, but Quadratus is one of those that you can't activate that cutscene in boss rush because it starts you on the ground where the game and the designers expect you to start the fight. Since normally the way that you beat Quadratus when you're not using speedrun strats is by hitting a weak spot on the bottom of one of his hooves. and that would be with one of your arrows. And then as he's bringing the leg down because he got hit in the weak spot, then you can slowly climb up the leg, get to the butt, and that's just too slow for us. So we minimize that time.
Like you're trying to speed run it, one might say.
What?
I know. Very
Wait.
surprising.
I'm trying to go fast. What a concept.
Gotta go
I do want to say, as you're heading to this next Colossus, Gaius, little known fact that Gaius actually won Colossi Illustrated's 2003 swimsuit award for being just the best dressed Colossi at that event.
Understandable.
They're very handsome.
Very, very wonderful armor, I will say. Beautiful armor. And for a minute, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to say beautiful giant man or giant woman. I'm
Yes.
gender fluid, and I just kind of assume that all the Colossi are as gender fluid as I am. So you'll hear me use basically any and all pronouns for each of the Colossi. So there are some of the characters in this game who, in canon, do have like set pronouns. So wander, he, him, agro, she, her. But the Colossi, it's never defined. So we can call them whatever we want. But for now, yes, I'm headed towards Gaius. This one is one of the coolest and one of the hardest. So, Dan, you also have this one. So I'm going to let you go ahead and get started.
I like this one is
focus.
This one is definitely the one that I remember from my first playthrough the most. And I think, if I'm correct, this is the one that's
to this game.
that would be you, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So again, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so this one, if I also remember correctly, Gaius is on the cover art of the original game box. Is that correct?
Actually, not the original. So the original had Valus, the very first Colossus, but the 2018 remake did have Gaius on the cover. So you are remembering that correctly, just different version.
Real quick, I want to point out something that Ruby's doing right here. You'll notice them doing the whistle for aggro as they're jumping. This is to break the auto movement or the auto sort of stagger that happens when you end a jump. Because jumping is the fastest movement, this lets them move faster as they go up that ramp right there. Just a little bit of small tech to cover distance quicker.
And you'll see me doing that a lot whenever I'm just running on surfaces. And here it comes. Everybody get up. It's time to slam now.
All right, so we got one of the most tricky little tricks in the game following this first bit. So arrows they're not able to fully defeat a Colossi. However, Ruby tries to get about at least 5, though I think there's a few more going in this time on that first invisible sigil. This creates a little bit of damage so that the final stab they deal will be a bit of a shorter stab, saving them a little bit of time in the long run. So here we go. There's one, and weird glitch. Oh no!
Wow,
all right.
weird glitch. Wow, what
That's
happened?
all right. That's all right. Space Jam was not successful, but there is the backup strat that we're going to see right here.
So unfortunately, there are some strats in this game that are extremely difficult, and if you don't pull them off, you have to know backup strats. That's just part of the way this game functions, is you have to be good at 2 or 3 different things for each Colossus so that you can go with the flow if something goes wrong.
Now,
but yeah.
For this backup strat, if you were doing the non-speedrunning strat, the trick would be to break this gauntlet that you see right above the wrist of Gaius. However, because that's very time-consuming, what you're going to see Ruby do here is jump over to the center on the waist, and then use, first take care of this sigil, but then also use this distance to get above the gauntlet and make the way up to the head. This sort of saves full cycling of sword movement and time, so that even though this is the backup strategy, it's not going to be that costly in the long run. Yeah, there we go.
Especially since I got that jump immediately to transition over from the belly to the arm. That was great.
That was nice and slick, and now we're seeing right up the arm, back of the head.
Yep.
And if that first jump had gone as intended, this is where Ruby would have ended up after that first jump. The reason it's called the Space Jam jump is because basically you get yeeted into the air and you should be singing a little "I Believe I Can Fly." And here we go. Last little short stab, boom.
So
and there's Gaius.
Yeah, that was probably, I want to say,
great recovery.
Thank you. That was probably a 20-30 second time loss. So there are other places where you can lose minutes upon minutes of time, and it's really, really brutal. For how quickly I got that recovery, like, I'm completely fine with how that Gaius went. Would my ideal have been getting the Space Jam? Yes, but I'm still really, really happy with that recovery and getting the backup pretty much immediately. So moving on to the next Colossus, who is a community favorite and one of my favorites. Now, I will say though, so Phaedra, who's coming up, or Baedra, as many of us affectionately call her, every single person I talk to says that this Colossus is a different animal. So some people say a horse, dragon, llama, alpaca, giraffe, sheep, deer, spider. I've heard it all. So I'm just gonna kind of say that my nickname has always been Horsey Boy, but I'll leave it up to your own interpretation. And getting into a bit of that, just as far as the way the lore of this game is structured. So Gen Design was basically at the spearhead of Gen Design is this incredible writer and game designer named Fumito Ueda. And one of his big philosophies with video game design is trying to tell stories where so much of it is implicitly built into the world that you bring in the audience almost as another kind of storyteller. So usually he won't confirm what his main idea and theory is for a game until many, many years later, because he, with the like few little cutscenes it gives you, with the few pieces of information, he really wanted to make sure that the audience could come up with their own theories and be able to contribute to the storytelling in that way. So,
I actually have a question about that in regards to this one, because this is a much older game, and I actually saw some theories floating by in the chat earlier about, like, is this the one where you end up as the baddie at the end? Is that something that they have confirmed now that the game has been out for as long as it has?
So Fumito has actually published his initial headcanon, and it's that the very basic version, because it's like a huge essay and goes very in depth, but the basic version is that Dorman was actually a being, just like a person who had this almost cult founded around them. But my theories have always been very different. So it just depends on who you ask. And again, he may have released what his theory was, but he never has said, and I consider this canon. Okay, really quick. I'm tossing it to Couch because I gotta focus on this Colossus crap.
Okay, so we are now at Phaedra, or Baedra, and we're going for an immediate major speedrun trick here, which Ruby did get, jumping on that back leg. Now, it's going to look very easy walking up this leg, but it is in fact very precise pathing that Ruby needs to follow, and Phaedra does not sit still to allow this to happen. Because Ruby got the leg jump, this is going to be a very quick fight, which is extremely in contrast to the intended way to fight Phaedra, which normally requires a series of tunnels that you need to go into to try to fool Phaedra into looking for you. It's a very long puzzle you need to solve, but because of that quick and immediate leg jump up, Ruby was able to get up onto the back of its neck, attack its sort of lesser sigil there, and then straight onto its head for the rest of the damage, which is going to save an absolute mountain of time. The recovery on this, it can also be very tricky if the jump is not got right away. Yes. So well done, Ruby, for getting that first try.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this one is one that if you miss it in boss rush, it's really easy to just hit the retry button. If you miss it in any percent, you are going to be losing minutes upon minutes of time, because trying to get the lineup to actually land on the legs is really rough. For the fact that the ledges are in such weird angles and positions, the only way you can get onto them is by yeeting yourself off of Agro, who is our beautiful horse that is a perfect angel who has done no wrong, and yet she puts in so much work in this game. Everyone,
she does her best.
Fun fact: you can pet the horse in this game if you would like to at home. Give pets to our good girl Agro, because she worked so hard.
10 out of 10, perfect game.
Yeah. Let's get some, if we could please get some peas in chat for petting all the wonderful horses in this game.
Also, I
Love
noticed
them all.
Emotes of little pets do that
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah, that works too.
someone called Phaedra a giraffe, and you know what? I see it now. I
right?
can see that.
It's the neck.
Yeah.
Also,
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Ruby.
No, please, by all means.
I was going to say, one of the fun things about this, and to provide a little bit of insight into the true animal behind Phaedra, these names that we're providing, Phaedra, Gaius, Quadratus, these are actually names that are fan-approved names. When the game came out, there were sort of dev names for these various colossi that they used to categorize them.
But it's like Minotaur A, B, C.
Yeah,
Weird, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's exactly Minotaur A through C, Knight. We are currently headed to battle. Bird. So these names obviously didn't really catch on with the community, and the names that we are giving them are the ones that stuck. And Phaedra, as an example, is named Kieran, according to the dev name, which does relate to a mythological creature that does somewhat resemble what Phaedra resembles. So that was
like the magical, like the unicorn.
Yeah, it's a magic horse. I mean, so it is a little insight into. Now it's unclear
awesome.
whether
I didn't know that.
which came first, the name Kieran or the design of Phaedra. But a little insight there. They do look similar.
All right, next we're going to Avion.
Yes. Basic setup. This is a bird that has, if I can pull it off, one of the coolest strats in the game, but this is another one that can be really rough. If I mess it up, I will probably fall in the drink, but we are gonna, everyone just keep your fingers crossed and send me good energy that doesn't happen today, because I would like for our good girl to behave.
I got fingers and toes crossed for you.
Spirit bomb
Thank you.
time.
All right. Yep, I'm passing it to Couch, so you'll take it from here. Yep.
This is Avion, also known as the Angry Burb. One of the people in chat, I'm gonna shout him out, Just Dave. His preferred strat is to use a giant seed bell around your neck to gain Avion's attention. It's been known to work. It's a great strat, and I'm gonna use it when I start speedrunning this game.
These
so you
people
wanna
are gonna start getting all sorts of weird ideas. There is no bell item in this game.
So what you want to do is you want to prep your bow to start, hop in the water, swimming in as straight of a line as possible to save both stamina and speed through it. Now you're gonna hop on this little ledge here, get Avion's attention. Oop! Hey, guess what? I'm here.
Yep, arrows
Position.
and whistles work very well to get their attention.
Position themselves perfectly, and out. Grab that wing. Fantastic. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. You know, the bird's flapping all over the place. You gotta wait. And so Ruby's gonna make it to the first sigil and pray to RNGesus that we get an upwing.
Upwing!
Hang on.
So let's see. The difference is upwing allows them. Oh, yep, that's upwing. Come on, baby. Woo! All right, fantastic. So that's what you can do with upwing. You can just skip from one wing to the next. Downwing, you got to run across the body a little bit, but yeah, it's very, very, very dangerous, because if you miss that upwing, you fall and you got to start it all over, and it takes a while. But as you see, Ruby killed it like a pro. Hit both wings, made their way down the tail, stabbing the tail, and that's pretty much all there is for this Colossus. So we get that last stop. Now, I do want to say, oh, whoa, come on, Wander.
What?
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no.
No.
All right,
No, this is my nightmare. Oh, no.
It's okay. You got this. So there's a little sliver.
The left wing. I understand the left wing. Oh, no.
Okay, so Ruby just needs a little gentle goodnight kiss, right on the forehead. So we're gonna go over to that sigil. Beat right there. Little boom boom. Kiss goodnight. We got this. You got this. You got this.
Hang on.
Avion, can you please let us kill you? Just, I mean, it's not even that serious.
Babe, why? Why do you have to do this?
Come on, just.
Babe.
You're not even going anywhere, Avion. Just come on, let us real quick.
Just. Okay.
There we go. Fair enough.
Water, I'm speaking to your manager. That was rude. Don't you ever scare me like that again. Don't you ever scare me like that again. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever understabbed on a wing in normal mode. That's new.
That's never happened before. Hey.
That's never happened
Always
before.
a moment.
No,
Brand
this is
new.
a
Weird glitch. You know, we were taking bets beforehand which one was going to be the troll Colossi, and I
And
think
you
we
guessed
got
it.
it.
So far, there can be at least one.
There can be at least one. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
So
man.
I want everybody to remember what happens after after Wander kills a Colossus, because you see these little black tendrils that have been dubbed Death Spaghetti, and there's a story, new canon, that is just surfaced for everyone that this will come into effect. So
lore drop.
yep, lore drop, heavy lore drop. Make sure to keep.
This is something that we call foreshadowing. That
Yes.
the doorman tells you at the beginning, you know, if you take my demon deal, something bad might happen, and then the Death Spaghetti possesses you and sends you back to the temple with more shadowy figures approaching you and surrounding you every single time.
Let me just tell y'all, it's about to be an M. Night Shyamalan twist, right, coming up very soon.
I did also want to just mention a little bit of tech there. You've seen at the end of every Colossus so far that Ruby's just keeping Wander standing near them while the Death Spaghetti seeks him out. However, at the end of Avion, it actually is in Ruby's best interest to swim towards Avion to get as close to that Death Spaghetti as possible, which is why you saw Wander swimming as quickly as he could there at the end.
Yeah, and one thing is you want to aim at the body and swim underwater because you move faster underwater.
Yep, so you'll notice that one of the things I do whenever I'm swimming is I always make sure to stay underneath the surface, and I'm also hitting a button that allows you to just focus your vision and the camera on the Colossus. So usually that helps me to like swim closer towards them faster, and then otherwise I'll try and swim in straight lines because that allows you to maintain more of your stamina more consistently. It's bizarre. This is a very, as far as speedruns go, this is a very input-heavy, physics abuse specific speedrun. So if you're ever looking for a speedrun where you're just constantly engaged with it and every fight looks very simple, but actually has like so many little intricacies that just make it more exciting when you play, it's the reason I love playing this game and the reason I love speedrunning it. The way I actually initially got into playing this game in the first place was I was introduced to it in high school. A friend of mine and I, Alex, we stumbled upon it just out of the blue one day at a GameStop. And this is many years after it had already been released. We were just way behind the curve. And we ended up falling in love with it. I had the controller in my hands the whole time. She was helping me figure out the kind of tricks behind each Colossus, since it is a puzzle platformer. Every fight, the Colossi behave differently. They're different sizes, have different animations, as you've seen. So we were figuring out the tricks together. Then when I got to college, I met a few of my best friends in the world, and we bonded over the fact we liked a lot of the same video games, and Shadow was one of them. So we started off by doing this yearly tradition of just playing it together and passing the controller back and forth, and eventually it turned into full races. A bunch of our friends would pile into a dorm room, and it was just so much fun. So now whether it's racing someone who's learning the speed run, whether it's watching a friend who's never played it play it for the first time, I love experiencing this game with people. It's hands down my favorite, both because of how beautifully it's crafted and also just because of the great memories I have associated with it. So yeah, and I'm gonna turn it to the couch because it's starting.
All right, this is Barbara. Barba. I said Barbara. Barba. This Colossus. Yes, I was gonna say this Colossus is known as Minotaur B in the game, and the wonderful Crystal Crew has dubbed it Minotaur Bees. So I'm super flattered to be named after this wonderful Minotaur boy. So what's gonna happen now? Ruby's gonna skip the cutscene, and yes! Wander, as you see, if timed right, Wander will spawn right in the air and grab onto Barba's beard. There's a different strat if you miss it, but right now this fight's gonna go quick. So now that we've made it onto the beard, climbed around, Ruby's gonna stab right into the head, and pretty much finish this sigil off and slide down and magnet hands onto the back and then finish it off. You'll see it right here. Boom, magnet hands right onto that sigil. Beautiful. Stab, stab, good night.
Yep, and it should just be 2.5 stabs here. The nice thing is I can kind of time out some of the stabs in between his shake animations, although sometimes he decides he wants to walk just a little bit more, and that's not something I look forward to, because then his shakes just go all over the place, and there's not really a way to control that. But hopefully I'll be able to take it out super fast here. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Thank you.
There we go.
And
Beautiful.
that's Barba. That's the old sage.
Easy
that is
peasy.
Minotaur bees.
Lemon squeezy.
Chat wants to know no more knife kisses.
No, of course knife kisses. All day, every day.
Sometimes knife kisses, but for the small boys, they are giving the small boys good scratches with love and a sword. Because this game progressively makes you feel guilty about your decisions, and as speedrunners, we have to try and hide that guilt of killing all these beautiful innocent creatures.
The extended cut of the game has the cutscenes where you scream, "I'm sorry" at the end of everyone, and you're crying by the end.
Oh man!
That's for the Patreon.
Little Easter eggs in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, we are oh god.
Oh yeah.
Time for our spooky friend.
Yep. So I'm gonna give y'all just a quick heads up. So I am someone who very much believes that people are more important than the game. If for some reason I know that it can be a trigger or just a phobia for some people, if underwater sea monsters or deep pits of water that you can't see how far it goes down, if that kind of stuff is a phobia for you, I would highly recommend taking like a 5-minute coffee break and just taking a moment for yourself, because the next Colossus I'm headed to is specifically a underwater sparking eel Colossus and is considered by a lot of people the scariest fight in the game. So if that is something that isn't quite your bag, I totally understand. Please take care of yourself. But for those of you who that is not at all a phobia, this is a really cool and also one of the hardest fights in the game. This, Gaius, and then Bosron, which is number 9, so we'll be doing that in a little bit here. Those are, for me personally, the hardest fights in any percent normal. So fingers crossed and knock on wood and all that. Also, I just realized something. For the people who are here as my couch, did I introduce all of you to this game? Or was it just Bees and Dan? Or was it just, I'm sorry, Steven and Dan?
Well, introducing to the game, like first showing the game, no. I saw it, and originally when I saw it, I was like, this game sucks. It's just running around for hours on end, and then a quick little boss fight. This is kind of boring. But, and you know, kind of just was done with the game. But meeting Ruby, watching their stream and the speed running, I realized that, okay, speed running this game opens a whole new window of entertainment. So you reignited my interest and intrigue with the game.
Honestly, I'm honored that you said that. I really love inspiring people to play this game. I think it's an absolute work of art in plot, in graphics, in design, and everything. So, and Dan, you were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, I remember this game existing, and I remember seeing the commercials for it, and I never picked it up.
Yeah.
There were a lot of reasons. I know I personally like had a PS2 forever, you know, and it just never occurred to me to like pick this one up. But I remember the first time that I played through it with you, and I remember thinking immediately, because you were talking then about you wanted to speedrun it, and of course here we are. But it really, this game, the layout of it, the way that, like, the openness of the world, the way that it asks you to skip cutscenes and the game clock doesn't even keep track of it, the physics itself, all of it kind of lends itself to be a speedrun game. Not every game does that. Some of them you kind of have to, you know, mess with the way you play it or the way it's meant to be played. But as far as like intended percent goes on top of, like any percent, like this feels very much in line with like that intended percent, that sort of thing that people outside the speedrun community look at a game and someone's speedrunning and they're like, well, why aren't you doing this, that, or the other? And I thought this lent itself very well to that.
And we are about to get into that fight, so I'm going to pass it to Couch to fully commentate this because I really have to focus on this one.
All right, so this is Hydrus, aka Eel, per the dev name. Hydrus, as has been mentioned, is well regarded as the first Colossi you really fight in this game that is genuinely terrifying. They spend a lot of time below the water. What Ruby is going to do here is try to position herself perfectly so that she'll be able to grab right onto Hydrus's head as they surface. The positioning needs to be exact in order for this to work. Otherwise, they'll just need to grab onto its tail or somewhere lower on its body, as we're going to see here with the recovery strap. It's basically an exact location you need to be in. If you're too near or too far, it won't work. What Hydrus will do here is, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hydrus is fully gone, so we're gonna need to get Hydrus's attention and hopefully catch Hydrus on another roundabout. The intended way to beat Hydrus is sort of as you're going to see here with now this recovery. Not exactly the full intended way, but it's to try and find some opportunity as Hydrus is surfacing to grab onto the fur that runs down along this Colossi's back. Sometimes that is by just waiting for it to surface. Sometimes it's by actually diving beneath the water and grabbing on, as you saw Ruby do just a little bit there. Hydrus is especially terrifying because they will drag you under the water for long periods of time. And the longer that you are under the water, the more in danger Wander is of dying. So what Ruby's going to need to do is basically work from the back of Hydrus to the front. And there are these 3 electric spikes that are going to be in their way. If they can time their passage correctly, you can see they're going to be basically trying to get around these spikes without being hit, because they do a lot of damage and can knock you off of the Colossi entirely. You can disable them through a series of small sigils in front of each of them, and that, in intended, that's sort of the idea. But Ruby is just going to attack this foremost spike to shut off its electricity and then move towards the soul sigil on Hydrus's forehead. Now, Hydrus, if you don't have the strat right away, Hydrus is really annoying when trying to get a plant and trying to do these attacks. They'll keep ducking their head under the water, and it generally costs a lot of time on the recovery, but we still got there pretty quickly. Well done.
Oh, that was so stressful. Yeah, so Hydrus in boss rush is actually a lot easier to hit the strat, because what you usually do is with a series of jump stabs in the water with the speedrun strat, you can actually get Hydrus to cock his head to the side. And what that does is it allows you to kind of stand on the scales on the side of his head, and then gets him to move his head upwards, and you can just immediately pop onto the head rather than grabbing onto the tail, and just jump stab all the way home. So it can be, that there was probably like 1.5 to 2 minutes for me, but that fight can easily be 50 seconds if you get it first try. But in any percent, the timing and the positioning is so much more specific that's why I was saying this is one of the hardest strats to hit in any percent. So, but I was able to get the recovery pretty quickly there. Yep. So I will take it, and we're moving forward.
Fantastic job.
Moving forward.
Nice.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. So we're about to be about halfway through the run. This is probably as good a time as any for us to really quickly just tell people who we are and what we do. If enjoying this run and you want to see me speedrun this game more, I speedrun several different categories of this game. I also have now learned the runs to Eco and The Last Guardian, which are the other 2 games in the Gen Design series that are out at this moment. I also am planning on learning the Hades speedrun and the Journey glitchless speedrun. I want to learn a Legend of Zelda game at some point, and I also am a bib speedrunner at Untitled Goose Game with Steven. So if you are interested in that or otherwise on my stream, I am a actor and I love singing and talking about musicals, and people will redeem serenades, and I do speedruns and Let's Plays. So if any of that is your bag, please feel free to come by. I would love to see ya. But that's kind of me and what I'm up to and what I do. So if anyone else wants to plug themselves really quick, go for it.
All right. Hey, Big B's here. I do a lot of variety gaming on my channel, big_B's. I mainly do either like a lot of indie games or scary games. Scary games are like horror games are my #1 thing because people love to hear me scream. I don't know why, but people just love it. So if you want to hear a grown man scream his head off at scary games, then definitely come check me out. I also do a lot in the TTRPG community. I do a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows. I'm all over the place. You can catch me on RF Chaos or One Shot.
Same. We're literally on RF Chaos together.
Yeah, on Saturdays for a fantastic mask game. Yeah. I'm always either retweeting, pumping up people, just spreading hype for all my wonderful friends online on Twitter. So if you want to follow me at BigB's_, feel free to always tag me in something because I have no issue retweeting things. I love it. I'm also developing a game right now, which is going to be kind of like it's like Archvale mixed with Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I'm going to start doing some streams of that. And that's pretty much it. I just got a lot of other stuff in the pipeworks right now, so come check me out.
All right, and then Dan or Steven?
Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Dan Pyun. I am a performing artist, I'm a musician, and I am a Let's Play streamer. I try to run on weekends. I will run games for the first time, so things that I've never played before that are really like narrative intensive. So for me, that's been a lot of Don't Nod games, if you're familiar, like the Life is Strange series. I'll run that stuff on Sunday nights. Saturdays, I run some form of shooter or stabber, and on Friday nights, I'm going through Hades, which I hope to learn the speedrun for. I'm also a baby speedrunner in the Ocarina of Time glitchless restricted category, which is
the fight is about to start.
Oh boy!
You have to finish this after the fight. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. Which back to bees.
Oh, that is me. Yes. Kuromori, known as the Sparky Salamander, that's what I call them, holds the world record for being the worst at hide and seek, as you will see. What we're gonna do is whistle when we first get into this area to get his attention and then sneak down a level so they keep going. And Ruby is gonna shoot the legs out to trigger a fall. And the higher they go when Kuromori falls, the longer they stay down. So as you saw Ruby jump down, bounce, the technique here was to bounce off of Kuromori because that minimizes the damage you take when you hit the ground. And then just hop on its tummy and give it some, some tummy rubs, some sharp tummy rubs. And we're gonna do 2.5 stabs to that first sigil and then finish it off with 1/2 a stab and a quick little kiss to finish it right there.
There we go. That was a beautiful Kuro.
Nice.
And the really nice thing is this is probably for speedrunners. Casually, this Colossus is terrifying. I remember when I was playing it casually the first time, this was one of the scariest fights in the game for me because he shoots basically these rays that cause electrical clouds to form on the battlefield, and if you stand in them, it will just sap your health until you die. So casually, it's terrifying, but as speedrunners, that's actually the easiest fight in the game, which is why I was like, yeah, we can plug now, it's fine. And Dan, you should continue plugging now that we're done with the Colossus and headed towards my worst nightmare. I'd rather talk about you all and how great you are before I,
sure.
joke.
My worst nightmare too. No, but I actually was saying, I remember that one on my first time, and I agree. Like Kuromori was definitely one of the ones that I struggled with. I think I lost that fight at least like 5 times trying to get through it. But just like watching you do it now, where it's just like, oh yeah, this is a walk in the park.
Yeah, easy game for babies, as we refer to it in my community.
Easy game for babies.
Easy game for babies.
But yeah, I want to know my spiel so I can get over to Steven. I think those are the big things. Yeah, I'm a weekend streamer, a Let's Play streamer, and a baby speedrunner. And you can catch me over on TikTok. I do a lot of D&D content over there and other nerd content like the DC Arrowverse stuff. If you ever want to chat about that, you can find me on all channels as Dan Pyun. And come argue with me, because I like arguing about that stuff sometimes.
Amazing. And Steven?
So hello everyone, I'm Stephen Dewey. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Stephen Dewey. I'm also a variety streamer. Primarily what you'll see on my channel though are multiplayer games, because I love playing games with friends. So Tuesday nights, that shakes out to Trader Tuesdays, which is a night of social deduction games like Among Us and Blood in the Clock Tower. On Sunday mornings, Ruby Hart and I actually joined forces on my channel for some 2-player co-op games. Eventually, Saturday mornings would be a big multiplayer stream for some other big multiplayer games. So if you like multiplayer action, you can find that over on my channel. And Ruby's in pretty much everything I do, so you can catch them there as well. In addition to being a variety streamer, though, I'm also a tabletop role-playing game designer. I'm a professional dungeon master as well. I'm hoping to put out more tabletop content on Twitch and even put out some indie design streams where people can hang out with me while I design. So definitely tune in. It's a lot of fun.
Yep, and I'm going to add this because you don't brag about yourself enough when it comes to this. The way that Steven and I became friends of each other was we were fans of each other first. They really liked my speedrunning content. I am a big fan of the game they designed, 10 Candles, so check it out if you haven't. Okay, Couch, go.
Yes, so here we have Bassaran, big old turtle man. Now, this one is a little bit tricky. Looks like it's not a troll. They are stepping out. Ruby's going to charge as they put their front foot down here, and then nice little jump up there. That is a neat little trick that you use the momentum. Ooh. However, we have fallen off here, so Ruby's going to go for the backup strat, which is the sort of thing you would usually do in a boss rush. Though I think actually we're going to see a little bit of a tactical reset here to try and get back into the best position to make a quick climb on the back of Bassaran. So that one can sometimes go a little bit sideways. The technique involves, oh no, I'm just following
you're a little late, thanks.
All right, so quick tactical reset here, a yeet into the abyss, and then we will come right back to the top of Bassaran. That's all right though. So this is the backup strat, which we would have seen if Bassaran did a troll and didn't step forward at all. This is going to involve going to the other side. So we'll see it here in a second. Gotta remount, get back up on the horse, as they say. And then over here, we're gonna go off to the left this side. Rather than go for the specific kind of jump that requires this sort of little hidden tech, we're just going to use the leg, hop up onto the back, and now we are in the clear.
There we
Easy,
go. Okay.
Good recovery. So yeah, if something goes wrong with that first strat, that just is a quick tactical reset, and then it's smooth sailing from there. And like I said, if you noticed on that first time, when Bassaran was walking forward, sometimes, doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to why. The Bassaran won't move. If Bassaran doesn't move, you do the backup strat that you just saw Ruby do. So this one can go any number of ways. This is the one that decided to do a little bit of trolling, but it's okay. The recovery was quick and clean, and it's just a matter of time now.
Yeah, so I will say one thing that, like, it makes me a little sad just because, like, my times have been in a much better place recently. I am number 10 on the chart right now. My times, when I first submitted, was somewhere around the, like, 135 in-game time mark, and now my times have consistently been sub 110. which is where I really want to land to be happy with a run personally, just as far as like consistency with my performance. And my times have been getting better and better. So on one hand, it's sad that the Colossi that are the 3 hardest for me, like I miss the strats in the any percent. However, because from this point forward, I'm much more confident in the strats for the Colossi, like I'm crossing my fingers and knocking on wood that the rest of it I can just come out with a really clean run. And I'm really glad that I very first try got the backup recovery strats, even if I didn't get the, you know, these are the absolute most optimal versions. In fact, these, so like the waist strat that I used for Gaius, the rib strat that I used there, all of these were strats that when I was still a baby speedrunner, I would use regularly. So even though, yes, I want to get the most optimal times, having those backups there is really nice, so you don't throw out a run that could still be really good if you nail all the other Colossi. So we keep moving forward, and we are headed towards Dirge next? Yeah, okay.
Dirge is next.
I'm good at this game, I swear.
I mean, all of your recoveries have been absolutely A+ recoveries, so don't beat yourself up too much about being memed by various Colossi, because clearly you're able to finish them off anyway.
See, they knew other people were watching. They just wanted to have an opportunity to show off for themselves. They got a little tired
they can
of
put up a fight.
I want to point out, Chad has been talking about the shape of, or what sort of animal Bassaran is. So we've got turtle. Temp's got a Bassaran, so we're bringing back the Barbara Ann joke twice tonight. Crab turtle. We've got Cookie Monster. We've got friend-shaped. Squirtle, Underbite Boy, and Ankylosaurus Supreme.
I gotta add one to that list. So there is a member of the community that nicknamed Bassaran Geyser Beam after Geyser Beam in The Incredibles, and I love that nickname, and it has been adopted as my own.
That's a good one.
So,
For those of you who are not familiar with this game, the proper strategy, or like the intended strategy, I guess you'd say, of being Bassaran is using geysers that are around them to fire up yourself onto its back, which you won't see in the speedrun, and you didn't see just there. So in case that name was escaping you, the geysers are directly related to the way it, quote unquote, wants you to defeat them.
Exactly. So usually you have to basically lure Bassaran on top of a geyser, and then while he's going, oh no, I'm on top of a geyser, my body doesn't understand this, his ankle is showing that has a weak spot just right in there. So by hitting those weak spots with the arrow, he then flips over and you can climb up his belly. He does a really ridiculous flip, and then you kind of hop onto his back and pray, and then you can take out the sigil. And one of my favorite categories that I'm actually the previous world record holder in is any percent normal intended, where you basically have to use certain set strategies that the designers meant for people to use in this game. Now you can still do 1 cycles on certain Colossi, not all, but certain Colossi. You can still use the kind of stabs that I've been using, so cycle stabs and plants and those different things we've been talking about. But doing side launches or doing the getting past the gauntlet on Gaius to get up to the head, none of that is allowed. So it's a very fascinating category to still see how quickly you can go, considering the world record in that right now, I believe, is somewhere between 1:15 and 1:19 IGT, which is 15 to 19 minutes less than the world records that are on the chart right now, maybe even more than that. So it's really cool to see how much you can optimize the game, even if you don't know the speedrun strats and you just follow the rules. Okay, so we're headed towards Dirge. I'm going to turn it over to the couch so that I can focus on this fight, because this is where 1 cycles come into play. So Dan, if you could define that, since 1 cycles are really important basically from this point forward.
Of course. So Dirge, much like hydras who likes to live underneath the water, Dirge likes to live underneath the sand. This makes them one of the more likely to do a little small trolling, but not big trolling. So the first thing that you're going to see Ruby do is to get their attention. Once we do that, we're going to go a little bit into car chase mode and wait for them to pop their eyes right up above the sand, and they're going to give a nice helping of arrows directly to the eyes.
Babe,
Little
Babe,
trolling
get
here.
up.
Little trolling. They're just putting their mouth up and not putting the eyes up.
Babe.
Babe,
why?
They are really, really trolling tonight.
Yeah, I don't like it. Listen, okay, there we go. There it
is.
Spinning out. Yep.
Okay, so once you've got that, they're gonna sort of lose their focus and they're going to ram straight into the wall. Once this happens, Ruby's gonna close distance. Now there are 2 sigils on the back of Dirge, but unlike every other sigil set, Ruby is not going to fully destroy the first sigil that they're coming into contact with right here in the center of the back. The reason for this is, if they fully destroy the sigil, Dirge will burrow back underneath the sand, and we have to do that little car chase scene again. That costs a lot of time, like upwards of a minute. It's one of the bigger time frames here. So very precisely what Ruby's doing, if you look in the bottom left corner, you can see this little white circle inside the yellow circle. It's measuring out the stab so that they're only dealing a certain amount of force. To make this the 1 cycle, they get just down to a sliver so that they can go to the front sigil and hit with enough force to fully deplete the HP bar without having destroyed either sigil entirely. This causes the 1 cycle instead of a full second chase. And looks like,
okay.
boom.
There we go.
I was sweating on that one. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, we're fine. That was a really good turn. Memed at the beginning, but I got a 1 cycle, and that's what matters.
They were just so shy.
This is one of the ones.
They were just like, oh, I'm a heckin' shy bean, and I'm gonna stay under the sand.
They're doing their best Dune impression here for a second, right? That's a Dune thing. I haven't seen Dune. I shouldn't make Dune references.
What have you done?
A terrible
Get
mistake.
in the comments, chat.
Oh no! I'm about to get red for filth. But that was one of those ones where, if I remember from your submission video, like the 1 cycle was what eluded you there. But that's a pretty big recovery right there, because that cuts off a massive amount of time getting that 1 cycle.
Yeah, so that cuts a solid minute and a half, me getting the 1 cycle there. And there are a lot of Colossi in the future that basically taking out their damage before they get a chance to like shake, wander off, or go under sand, or do whatever it is they're gonna do to try and reset the fight, so then I have to tame them and get on top of them to kill a sigil all over again. 1 cycles become so important from this point on in the speedrun. So you're gonna hear us throwing around that term a lot. Although I will say the next one, Steven, you and I gotta talk about, because
yes.
So fun fact, Steven and I actually lived together. And they adopted a puppo and asked me for name suggestions. So
yeah.
Hey, what's the name of your dog and also this next Colossus?
The name of both of these creatures is Celosia.
Yay!
So Celosia is the next Colossus that's coming up. The dev name for this Colossus is Leo, but clearly meant to indicate that this is intended to be a lion of some kind, and the design really matches that. What you're going to notice about Celosia is that he's kind of a tiny boy. He's not that big like the other Colossi are. And this is where the game first really introduces small Colossi and what they mean for Wander and how they impact the combats, which is to say that they move a lot quicker. They're not nearly as stalwart, but they're always pretty well armored, and they move around very, very quickly. So the strat.
And one thing that's really important also is if the small boys, so this one and then another Colossus that I'll explain later on, if they hit you once, they will stun lock you and they will continually hit you basically until you die. So avoiding their hits is very important. And I'll turn it back over to you, Steven. I just wanted to add that note. Yeah.
Hey, Steven, someone in chat just dropped, like, you named your IRL dog Minotaur too?
You know it.
That's amazing.
So we're going up against Celosia next. Celosia is sort of, much like many of the Colossi, is a puzzle that you have to solve. Now, we have kind of bypassed a lot of the puzzle mechanics in most of the Colossi that we faced, but we are actually going to engage with Celosia's puzzle a bit. So Celosia, one of the main, in fact, the main component about Celosia's personality is that they are terrified of fire. They actually are fearful of it. And what Ruby is going to do is take advantage of that here, by causing the game to just ever so gently glitch and make Celosia so terrified of you that he falls off the cliff. So this is the process that we're going to follow. First, getting Celosia to ram into that torch is going to drop it looks lit, but an unlit torch for Wander. Now we're going to get that torch lit so that the game recognizes that we have a lit torch by running it through this fire. Now over on this ledge, we are going to drop the torch and pick it up over and over again so that when Celosia runs over, just as you are picking it up, first try, well done. As Celosia closes in to knock Wander off the cliff, just at that last second, the game recognizes that you have a lit torch in your hand and cues the cutscene animation of Celosia falling off of the cliff as well. After the fall, Celosia has lost all of their back armor, which makes for a little bit of a rodeo ride to finish him off.
Yes. Okay, and that was first try with the drop and pickup. That was pretty much immediately on the back. And once you hit a plant, the small boys are also really notoriously known for, if you're not in exactly the right position, they will run all over the arena and you'll constantly just be running out of stamina and watch it deplete while you're like, I just need one more hit. Or you're trying to get in these teeny tiny small hits. But by hitting a plant on the back half of the Colossus's back, with this Colossus and the other small boy Zenobia, which we'll get to in a bit. We have a few more Colossi in between. But once you hit that plant, it basically takes out that challenge that the designers meant for you to fight against. Because we don't have to worry about getting shaken. We can just do the 2, or for Zenobia, 10 stabs in order to kill them. And now we're headed towards one of the other very difficult Colossi with the most precise stab in the entire game. I am more consistent with this one, so I'm really hoping I can show you all this trick. But this is one of the few places where RNG actually comes into play, because sometimes this Colossus will just decide, you know what? It's a Tuesday and I am full of wrath, and I'm just gonna take it out on you. So that is a thing that is possible. Yeah, so we'll see. I will say though, this Colossus, lore-wise, is one of my favorites to hear people's fan theories, because there are so many that surround this Colossus. Unlike any of the other Colossi, rather than fur growing on different parts of its body, it has grass growing and just on the back. And the sides of the back are very rough. So one theory I've heard, this Colossus has teeth in the crown, just inlaid. And one theory I've heard is that this Colossus, this is actually only the bottom half, and the top half was cut off by something previously, because there may not be fur growing, but because the stone slab was out in the open, a lot of times when stone has deteriorated over generations and generations, you get moss, you get overgrowth, you get grass. So I thought that was a really interesting theory, and also you only see the bottom set of teeth, you don't see a top set. So some people believe that Pelagia is fully formed and it's just a different Colossus, but I really like that headcanon. So just thought I would share that fun bit of lore with y'all.
Yeah, I like that. This is an interesting theory.
Heck yeah. And by the way, Tippy, is there anything GDQ-wise that just is an important announcement for something coming up? Because I know AGDQ is happening really soon. So if you have announcements, this is a great time for it.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah. Right you are, Ruby. AGDQ is coming up soon. So Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online, starting live this Sunday, January 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Come out, see a week of speedruns here on Games Done Quick Twitch channel. And you can go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. I also want to point out that if you are watching this on YouTube, AGDQ will be live through the 16th, so you can go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you are interested in watching the event live.
Amazing. And please give your support. Not only does Games Done Quick just raise money for so many absolutely incredible causes, but just every time that I've been invited back or I've been able to be part of a GDQ event, has been absolutely incredible. So thank you all again for asking me to come and showcase this game. I'm really happy to be able to share it with so many fine folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, all of you are on fire with the gameplay and everybody here with the commentary. Y'all are doing amazing. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you so much.
I gotta do a quick chat out of here. Pillbug just dropped it. They got split in half with a head cannon.
Hey.
Oh my God, Pill, I love it. That's incredible.
I'm furious.
Because puns.
Oh God, and Dave follows up. Head cannon can even cut through plot armor.
Steve, listen. Seth and Amanda would be so proud if they were here right now. You know they would be.
I know.
Seth and Amanda are two theater friends of ours. Since Dan and I, the way we met is because we're both members of the DC Metro theater scene. And that's actually, we met doing shows together, but now play D&D together and are friends. So it's really cool, the evolution. All right, I'm tossing it to Couch here.
All right, we got Pelagia, the Tooth Fairy. So Ruby's trying to get their attention right now. Waiting for the head to tilt down and then hop right there. Beautiful magnet hands. Grab onto the face. Oh, there we go. So Ruby wants to get right here on the top of the head. Gonna hit the front tooth and then the right tooth to line them up. Boom, perfect. Hop onto here. And now Pelagia's normal thing is to shoot lasers out, get angry, and then you're supposed to hide and they hop on to find you. But what Ruby just did was Ruby, as the laser was charging up, jumped on the face, and that causes the AI to go, I think we're good? Yeah, sure, let's just hop up here anyway. And skips that whole shebang to get right to the chest sigil right here and it gets stabbing away. So that was just smooth as silk.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
Beautiful plug,
Look at that.
One and done.
One thing I want to say. Ruby hit that sigil right on the mark. One thing you want to do when you're getting on that sigil, you want to land on the upper part of that sigil where they landed. A little bit to the right is okay, but you never want to be to the left or too far to the right. And then that's, timing and precision and positioning are the most important for that. And you just want to make sure stab, and grab you some death spaghetti and go home.
Yeah, and one thing I will add, I actually realized I don't think we've defined magnet hands yet, so let's go over that because there are a few other times coming up where magnet hands are really important. So there are these weird times where Wander will be jumping towards a thing and you hit the grab button, and the designers built something in to kind of help players along of if they're close enough to a ledge but not quite there, the game will go, shh, I won't tell if you won't. And then we'll just magnetize Wander towards the ledge. So he'll just go boop, and suddenly be on the ledge that is closest. So there are some speedrun strats where we actually use magnet hands to our advantage. So one of them was me shooting Pelagia's face, and as she was dipping down, I could jump and be close enough where the game was like, you're good enough, sweetie, and then just pop me up the rest of the way while I was holding the grab button. There are two Colossi coming up. So Zenobia, which is number 14, and Argus, which is number 15. Both of which, Magnet Hands is huge to make their strategies work. It's huge. So I wanted to make sure we define that now because those fights go very quickly, and people having the shorthands of knowing what Magnet Hands means now rather than then is a good thing. It's a good idea. But for now, I am headed through the forest. And one thing that's interesting here, so if I go to Kickstart, which is the fastest way for the horse, Agro, to move in the game, but I'm too close to grass, she just freaks out. She's just very terrified of grass.
Horses and grass are natural enemies. It's a blood feud as old as time.
Are they?
Yeah. That's what the lore drop that we're gonna have this run is gonna be about. I'm gonna go a little more into that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about that on the way to the next Colossus, because we're about to hit this fight, but the next one is the longest travel time, so you'll have plenty of time to talk about the bloodborne feud between grass and horses.
Just wait. That's all I gotta say.
I can't wait. But for now, we're going to Phalanx, so Couch, take it away.
So here we have the tragedy of Phalanx. This game, as many of you know, this is one of the first games that sets up your protagonist to be a hero, but slowly reveals to them over the course of the game that, well, maybe they're the bad guy all along. That is no more clearly insinuated in this game than in this fight with Phalanx, as Phalanx is the only Colossus who is a true pacifist. If you do not engage with them, they will never attack you. And even as you are engaging with them, they will seek to not do you harm. They might buck you off, they might barrel roll and throw you, but that's going to be about it. But we're going to kill them anyway. So Ruby is, after having shot out those air sacs that keep Phalanx flying, Phalanx is now dragging a wing, and by riding around that pillar, Ruby lines up for... Oh, I was a little frightening there, but has lined up for it to grab onto one of its wings. You did it. That's all that matters. In order to climb up onto Phalanx's back. Now, Phalanx will have several of these raised fins. Under each of these fins is one of the sigils, and this is another Colossi where getting this done in one cycle is very important. After a certain amount of time, Phalanx will close these flaps, hiding the sigils from access, and will do a series of barrel rolls to throw Wander off, back down to the sand below. But if Ruby is quick enough with these stabs to take out each of the sigils one by one, they can make their way back from flap to flap and destroy all of the sigils in one cycle before they close and before a barrel roll occurs. That is not to say that they can't lose their footing very easily and be sent for a tumble, but it looks like we're going to get the last hit here without an issue.
Yes. Okay. Yep. One cycle. Easy game for babies. Let's go.
Easy game for babies. A nice cozy run. A nice comfy run.
A nice comfy run. You know, that's what we call it in the Team Eco speedruns community, which, hey, side note, I love getting people into speedrunning this game. I basically was recruited after I submitted my first run thinking that I wouldn't speedrun it anymore after my first one. But the Team Eco speedruns community just welcomed me with open arms and was so kind and so wonderful that it got me to stay. And now I've just fallen in love with running this game. There are people who watch my stream who have started speedrunning the game, one of which literally beat my time. Like, Potty Oculus, I don't know if he's in the chat right now or not, but is a member of the Crystal Crew community and started watching me speedrun the game, started speedrunning it himself, and now is number 9 and is like sometime between 40 seconds and a minute faster than me, and I just think that is so cool. So if you are interested in speedrunning this game, there is a group who is ready armed with plenty of knowledge and happy to welcome you with open arms. So, and that goes for any of the Team Eco speedrun games. So a lot of the people who speedrun one, quite a few of us have learned the speedruns to the others, or at least one of them. So I'm learning the runs to Eco and Last Guardian right now, and I'm trying to get those under my belt. I also know a lot of people who are just really incredible runners of the other games in the series. So yeah, if you're interested in running any of the 3 games, so Shadow, Last Guardian, or Eco, definitely get in our Discord. Like, we would love to have you. So we are headed now to my favorite Colossus, who is my good guard dog boy. He is a little bulldog. His code name by the designers was Cerberus. And of course, he's my good boy. He's my good bean. I think he's a bulldog. So the way that this Colossus works is fascinating to me because the intended version of this fight is my favorite fight in the entire game, hands down. I just love the rhythm of it. I love the design of it. The arena is beautiful. The Colossus is adorable. So it's a really high energy, high adrenaline fight. But the way that we do the speedrun strat is basically by surpassing most of it just to utilize one piece of the puzzle rather than 15. What I mean by that is the way that Zenobia's arena is set up is with a bunch of these different pillars just all across the arena. And you're supposed to use those. Bees calls him Domino Dog, and I love that so much because basically the way that you beat the Colossus normally is by standing on top of these pillars, shooting Zenobia with arrows, and even though there's armor on his back, he'll get angry and charge at the pillar to knock it down, which makes a bridge for you to get to the next pillar. Oh, hang on. Before that, this is a good luck strategy. We shoot the Bosseron that we hate. All right, moving on with my life. I got the arrows in.
The rule, if I remember correctly from Zombieland, is double tap just to make sure.
I did shoot with 2 arrows.
Excellent.
If you didn't see my second arrow fly, I did send one. So
okay. The run is good.
I did remember. We're good. But yes, so in Zenobia's arena, you get the pillars to fall over one by one by one. And that creates a path for you until you finally land in this final platform area and get Zenobia to knock over the platform or the pillar that's supporting the platform. So the platform collapses, it breaks off Zenobia's armor, and he shakes it off, and then you can get on his back to finish the damage. The way that I'm gonna do it here is basically by skipping all of that using weird speedrun strats and physics, and we'll get there when it's in the actual fight. But hey, Bees, why are horses afraid of grass?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Sit down, everyone. It's time to tell you a tale as old as time. So, years ago, before Wander was even born, there was a benevolent leader of a majestic horse tribe, Chief Nathaniel Winnieswood. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, lots of horse and grass puns. I'm sorry, but not sorry. This tribe was known as the Good Samaritans. They traveled the countryside, righting wrongs, doing good deeds, and saving the innocent.
Dan, you sound like you're in pain.
Everything hurts. Everything hurts.
Bees, go ahead.
It's only gonna get worse. Being these amazing creatures of wonder, they would travel across the land, stopping to quench their thirst in nearby rivers and sate their hunger with the luscious grass as far as the eye could see. Everything was right in the world until the evil sorcerer known as Nightmare tried to cast a spell to eliminate the tribe of heroes just to have it backfire and destroy him, scattering his very essence into the wind. The residual magic of Nightmare enchanted the grass and spread across the land, giving them sentience, but also tainting them with the very hatred etched into his soul. After witnessing these barbaric meat beasts tearing and devouring at their brethren, they banded together for the first time in history to fight back against this scourge of savagery to gain their freedom. Dubbed the Crimson Meadow Conflict of 4077. During this intense campaign, the haunting scent of fresh-cut grass filled the countryside for the majority, the horses were winning because they would just eat their opponents as they mowed through their ranks. But the grass began using their newfound cunning to set up traps and pitfalls for their enemies to disable them, swarm upon them, and, well, do nothing because grass don't have mouths, so.
Bees improvised this the other day on my stream, and I just sat there in awe, just like, how?
So here's where it gets juicy.
Well, here, pause. You gotta finish. You gotta wait till the end of the fight because we're in the fight now. So, Zenobia, I jump over that gap. It's a cool jump. Yay, cool. We're there. So what I'm gonna try and do is basically by jumping towards the very final pillar rather than using every single one of them to make the bridges, by jumping towards it and then spamming the jump button, I should be able to do a strat called, yeah, there it is. That's the super jump. So basically by spamming the jump button as fast as I can launch myself upwards. Zenobia is gonna hit the pillar just on her own the first time, but then I'm gonna shoot her with arrows just to get her attention towards me after this cutscene. this pillar is gonna fall, and I'm gonna do something called the Wacky Jump, founded by Wacky Wolf AO, who is part of the community, and I should be able to land on a part of the cliffside just embedded into the wall. Yes, I did. Okay, so oh god, hang on. Okay, we're good. So by being over here, and then I'm gonna shoot Zenobia a few times just to get her aggroed and get her attention. She's gonna line up and hit this pillar, and I'm gonna jump over here. That way, as soon as she finishes this cutscene, because I can't move in this cutscene, so I have to set up before. So I do that jump. Zenobia's armor is going to break off the back. Once this finishes, I should be able to just jump on the back and take this all the way home. So this is probably going to be a fight that's between a minute 20 and a minute 30. So this is a fantastic Zenobia. I'm really, really happy with how this is coming out. Oh yes, and the jump stab. Did it go into a plant? Jump stab into a plant? Yes, good. That's my ideal. Jump stabs do the most damage in the game, and if you notice, I usually only do jump stabs for the final hit on a Colossus, with a few exceptions. The reason for that is because when you do a jump stab, it does the most damage out of any fight or any type of stab in the game, but there is a 4-second long animation of Wander yanking out his sword. We don't want that. It takes too much time, because again, it's like I'm speed running or something. What concept or something. So I just want to make sure that I use it at the most optimal times. When you do the final hit on a Colossus regularly, it will just go into this slow motion, but the in-game timer is still running. But when you jump stab just for the final hit, that takes you directly into the final cutscene for the fight. So it basically cuts out a few seconds of IGT for every Colossus that you can jump stab for the final hit. There are some like Zenobia where sometimes it's just not worth the risk because they're shaking around so much. But there are other Colossi where if they're more still, you can get a jump stab pretty solidly. So yeah, that's Zenobia. That's my good guard dog boy, and we are on the final 2 Colossi in the game. So let's see.
Yeah, we are. We're fully in the home stretch now.
We are fully in the home stretch now. Oh gosh, I really hope this next Colossus is one that, how do I put this? It either is flawless or is nothing but memes for me. So we're gonna hope for the flawless side of it.
You know,
that's what we're gonna hope for.
It's important to have the one Colossus who, you know, finds the middle ground between pure trolling and just, you know, easy driving. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Yep, this is definitely that. And I will say, I'm just gonna break down a little of the intended strat for this fight now, because we don't use literally any of it for the fight. So you're not even gonna get to see most of what you would normally use. So usually this is a 2 to 3 or 4 minute fight. I cut it down and it's usually a minute or less. My best time on it, I think, is 43 seconds. So usually the way that you beat Argus is my nickname for him is the champion, because he's in this huge arena, almost like gladiator style arena. So what you would normally do is, by getting Argus to stomp on some parts of the arena, break down different parts of the arena, and then finally break a few bridges, you can jump onto his head. And he has a sword in one hand, so you then would go down to a weak spot on his arm and stab that weak spot so that he drops the sword, and you can get the final hit, which is on a sigil, in his hand. So you can't usually get to the hand and the fur while he's still holding it. But then there's the speedrun strat, where I do grab onto the fur, and it's absolutely nonsense. It's insane. And Dan gets to narrate this one.
Oh,
so
yes.
Yeah, it's gonna take us a minute to get across the arena, but
Yeah, and this is again one of the ones where, like, I was talking earlier about, right? We talk about the way that some game speedrunning comes into this concept of intended percent, and especially for new people coming into speedrunning, you look at a game and be like, it's like, how fast can you do the intended strategy? And this game generally has a lot of different ones that are sort of like bypass that or even embrace the puzzle, like we just saw a second ago on Zenobia. But this one in particular just says, not today. We're just going to say we're not going to play your game, and that just brings me a little bit of joy. Because this one, again, this is the one that could be a big troll, but
we're gonna hope that it's not that. And Dan, what should it be?
This one should be nice and easy. We're gonna see a little bit of some tech you've seen before. So, like has been mentioned, we're gonna be bringing back in some of the tech from earlier. We're gonna see some of that magnet hands that we talked about a minute ago. We're gonna see something similar to what would have been the Space Jam jump off of Gaius. And you can see, like, in this sort of arena we're walking through right now, this is the whole battlefield, right? But we're gonna be containing it to just the area by the cliff's edge, where we want to have as little of that movement as possible.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I'm just gonna go into full-on hyper-focus mode here, so you take it.
Of course. All right, so here we go. Let's say hello to Argus. Argus, the champion. Ruby's going to position themselves in front of the right foot to trigger this stomp. Now that they've done that, going up to the knee, and here we're going to see a little bit of that Spider-Man. Ooh, oh.
Nope. We're going to get a tactical yeet.
Yeah, we're going to get another tactical yeet here. Missing that grab up there sort of messes with the timing of it, so quick little tactical yeet into the abyss, and we're going to run that one again. The nice thing about this one is...
Argus take two.
Argus take two. We're going to try and see the same thing again, versus like with pass around when you do the yeet strat, and you have to tactically yeet. You have to do a secondary setup. This one we just go back, same thing. So here we go, grab onto the knee, up the shin. Now watch this jump. They're trying to jump past the hand to trigger the magnet hands, put them inside the palm, which they have done successfully. And now you get to that sigil that's in the palm. That one is otherwise very difficult to get to because of the grip Argus has on the sword. That's that taken care of. Here we go, triggering the second stomp. There it is. Now the next trick is the one that's very similar to the Space Jam jump. They're going to move just one little notch. You see that right there, away from the inside of the leg, and then up comes the leg, and up, and boom.
Yes!
Right up to the shoulder.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the miniature version of the Space Jam jump. You would have seen something similar with Gaius that would have had a little more air time.
Yeah, it's basically using the momentum to your advantage. That would have been me basically doing a series of jumps to then go from the bottom of the sword and launch through the air directly to his head. So something very similar as far as physics of use and mechanics.
Yeah, and now that we're here,
huge in this run. Yeah.
It's a straight up plant, and it should be smooth sailing for the rest of this now that we've taken care of it. Little nervous on the mask.
Yeah, no, listen, I hated that. I just need you to know that I hated that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we all hated that.
I directly just felt myself stop breathing in that moment.
Yeah, right? But now I'm kind of between the spine and the sigil, so I was able to land that solidly, and that's that. We're headed towards the final Colossus, and it's getting very hot in this studio, so give me 1 second. I'm going to take off my sweater and between
Why do you guys think I've been muting my mic this entire time? Because every time something happens, I'm like, no!
It's just like,
no! So, yeah, I can't, you know.
That one's one of the ones where it's like when we talk about that reset and then second take.
I took off my headphones and all I heard was B start screaming no. What happened?
Don't worry about
it. Don't worry about it.
I'll never tell.
But I want to know. Oh my god, I need to know.
So yeah,
then tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh god.
So yeah, that again. So after the reset, it's a nice quick setup, and once it gets done, that's not a huge time loss. And with all of the other ones that have been going so far, with these really quick like one cycles, this is getting really interesting as we get towards the last one.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I doubt this will be a PB, but also I don't know like what. legitimately, what is the real time looking like? Because I feel like I need to know what the real time is in order to determine if this is potentially a PB.
You're at 125.
125. Okay, so this will probably come in close. My real time PB is 134.06. So I don't know if I'm necessarily going to hit that time, but I feel like I'm going to be pretty dang close.
Just to briefly clarify for chat, the only time that matters in the speedrunning Shadow of the Colossus is the IGT, the in-game time. I know we've talked a little bit about some things that don't contribute to that later. So we're going to get a real-time estimate when we call time at the end of this run, but then you're all going to hang out with us for a bit while the long credits roll, and then we'll actually get the IGT to see how Ruby actually did. Because even just variants and loading screens or cutscenes can all detract from that. So that later time is the one that we're actually going to really be looking at.
Yeah. Oh God. I just had a thought, but I don't know if it's allowed.
Late night. I think anything goes.
Okay. So
we got
Tippy,
the approval.
GDQ after dark.
So Tippy, look at me. I have a very important question for you. So
I'm looking at you.
Okay. Good. Look at me. Look into the depths of my soul. How do I put this? Are you a musical theater person?
Yes, actually.
Heck yeah. So amazing. So the reason I asked this is me and another member of the Team Eco Speedruns community, Sancho, are both musical people as well as gamers. So one thing that Sancho does with his eco runs, he's actually the world record holder, is he wrote spoof, like parody versions of songs based on the speed runs. And I did that with a song from Tick Tick Boom, but about the speedrun of this game. And a tradition in my community is if I finish a full run on the channel and we think it has PB potential, I'll sing that song during the credits. So
I'm about it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
you didn't
cool.
have to ask the question. The answer is yes.
Amazing. I wanted to make sure and see if that was a possibility, if that would be okay. So, okay, awesome. Then I'll do that.
Yeah, I think it's been fun just hearing y'all chat about this because, I don't know, like I can tell y'all are theater people. I love it.
Yeah, I wanted to bring them on, like I said before, because these are three people who, like, I've played TTRPGs with, I've streamed with, I have performed with, and who I know are all streamers and aspiring speedrunners in their own right. And I wanted them to be able to have this to, like, inspire them more and also to teach them about a speed run. And hey, if y'all want to speed run it after this and need a coach, just saying, I'm here.
It sounds like the community is like pretty friendly for this game too, and I love to see that.
Yeah, I will say one thing, just getting a little more personal for a minute. As a femme gamer, I've been playing video games since I was like 8, and it's become just a huge part of who I am. But unfortunately, I have been gatekeeped from a lot of different gaming communities that were online or otherwise because I was femme. So lots of like quizzing and testing of knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So when some of my friends suggested I get into speedrunning this game, I was really nervous because I had to leave the League of Legends community. I had to leave the Halo community and all these other gaming communities because of the toxicity. And with this, I submitted my run thinking that was the only time I was going to do it. And then the mod who verified it sent me a message and commented on it saying, it was so refreshing and wonderful seeing how passionate you are about this game. Please join our community. And as a gender fluid individual, when we did the first big race with the community, without me saying anything or any kind of prompting, actually Gooperman, who used to go by Church Neo and ran this game at Awesome Games Done Quick a few years ago, he asked me, because he was doing commentation for the run just out of the blue, hey, by the way, what pronouns do you use? And just, I felt so seen and welcomed, and that feeling has never diminished. It's a really, really good group of folks. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, thanks. Okay. We're headed towards the final Colossus. We're headed towards Malice.
We got a big stream of Fs in the chat for aggro right there.
Oh, yep. Oh God, I forgot to give the trigger warning. If you have a problem with animals dying in movies and things like that,
too
I
late.
promise you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I messed up.
That ship done sailed.
Agro survives. You'll
The
see it in the
grass
credits.
won. Someone in the chat went, the grass won. I can't believe the grass won.
Oh my God,
I just spit all over my keyboard.
Agro's fine. Agro's fine.
I was like,
Agro's fine.
okay, it's a safe time to drink. And then he said, he read that, and I just spit all over my keyboard. It's ruined.
There is no such thing as your safety. Your safety does not exist here.
Not as long as you're surrounded by grass.
All right. So focusing up here. Deep breath. This is Malice. We have the final Colossus of the game here. Malice doesn't move, but he also doesn't really need to because he is just a castle with heat-seeking missiles that he's going to try to pummel Wander with.
Hitless, we got it.
Hitless, well done. So that pathing, as it is coming to be known, the PDO path that Ruby just followed there, after the speedrunner that they had mentioned earlier, was able to navigate around those heat-seeking missiles without issue, bringing Wander into these lower tunnels that you're meant to be using much more often in your approach to Malice. But we were able to just sort of catch that last tunnel and move forward. So Malice is built like a castle, and this entire section is just about some fairly tricky platforming and also just navigating yourself up the maze-like construction that this Tower of a Colossus is. This also is one of the most complex puzzles in the game. Unlike a lot of the other Colossi where, you're meant to really hit them in maybe 1 or 2 spots to get them to move in certain ways that you can take advantage of, Malice is meant to be this multi-step puzzle where you're hitting body part after body part, slowly encouraging these movements so that you can get somewhere else to hit another body part and so on. As opposed to dealing with all that, Ruby's just going to sort of fast forward into striking that weak spot on the shoulder and jumping over to Malice's hand so that she can get a free ride right up to the top of his head. Normally this is a many-step process, but with that jump, perfect. They're able to get right up on top of Malice's head, hopefully get the plant, and bring this very, very tall boy to his unfortunate end.
That's a plant, we got it.
Well done, great Malice. Malice is a little bit worrisome of a fight for everyone in the eco speedrunning community and the shadow speedrunning community. We have seen incredible runners just meet very unfortunate falls at the very end of a Malice fight, killing their run at the last second, including the current world record holder Tic Tac, who fell to a grisly end on one of his very, very strong runs a long time ago. It can be pretty bad, pretty dangerous, but you managed to handle it very well. Well done.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, during that laser section at the very beginning, that can juggle you, right? Like if you get hit by one of them, it starts juggling you, and then that's just a killer. And you gotta hitless roll through.
Yep, you're gonna constantly be hit until you die. Honestly, one of the jokes that we make sometimes is if you get hit once, like you'll see speedrunners in the chat be like, "Oh, just die," but not in a mean way. It's like dying would be faster than this. All right, and really quick, this is a tradition in the community. So the way that I speedrun this section, if you're wondering how I got from Little Wander to Big Shadow Monster, I'm just gonna let you play the game and figure that out for yourself because it's just way too much to try and get into here. But in this section, there are all of these guys from the village that is mentioned in a bunch of the cutscenes, and they're attacking me because I am this big scary creature. Hello, hi, hello, that's me. But if I attack them, that's just gonna get them more aggroed. So it actually saves a lot of time for me to just kind of hang out in my corner. So usually the tradition is we just kind of breathe fire and we call it Vape Nation. And that is us like hanging out in this corner while we wait for them to leave. And this is another good time for us to plug ourselves one more time since we're at the end rather than the halfway point. So again, my name's Ruby Hart. I use they, she pronouns. I am a gender fluid actor, streamer, and a speedrunner. If you like this run, thank you all so much for hanging out for it. Thank you, Tippy and Games Done Quick, for asking me back. This is the 4th event I've been able to do with Games Done Quick, and I am so honored to be a part of this community. And if you want to see more stuff that I do in the future, please feel free to come by my channel. And time is going to be coming up just in a second when I hit this pool. So 1 second. And time. Okay, what did that come out to? What did that come out to? Okay.
Ooh.
Seriously?
Close one.
Well, so here's the thing.
Ooh. It could mean anything.
That actually means it has PB potential, because sometimes the real time for certain runs is actually longer than the in-game time. So we actually really do need to watch through the credits, because this could be a PB.
The suspense. Yeah.
So this is one of those things that we were talking about before with the in-game time being the timer, and it's because, if I remember correctly, the different versions have different like run times of cutscenes, and in order to standardize it, use the in-game clock instead. Is that correct?
Yeah, so basically it's about the load times actually rather than the cutscene times. So yeah, when you play on PS4 versus PS4 Pro and PS5, because of the different frame rates that they can run this game at. So PS4 can only run 30 frames per second. PS4 Pro gives you the option to run at 30 or 60 FPS, same with PS5. So if you watch the real-time runs of that, or like if you were to hang out for a race of a bunch of different Team Eco runners of this game, you would notice that the people with the PS5s and the PS4 Pros would load in and head towards the next Colossus a lot faster than the people on a standard PS4 like me. So basically that means that even though someone in real time may be further ahead of you, in actuality with the in-game time, you could be tied. I've seen this happen with Tic Tac and JK once did a race. I believe that Tic Tac was on a PS5 and JK was on a PS4, just a standard one. And even though it looked like Tic Tac was way in the, or no, it looked like they were tied pretty much the entire time. But Tic Tac was still pretty far in the lead from real-time appearance. Tic Tac actually only beat him by 1 second. Not even a joke. This is an actual thing that happened. And JK and Tic Tac are two incredible runners of this game. But yeah, if you're interested in running Shadow or any of the other games in the Team Eco series, please join the Discord. We would love to have you. If you have any questions, there are so many people there who are willing to answer them, and we even have a beginner help section, which is documents and reference links to videos for you to get started. And if you like me and what I do, please feel free to drop me a follow, and I would love to take you on my speedrun journey, because I'm trying to start aiming for world records again, so we'll see, fingers crossed. And if y'all want to plug yourselves really quick, and then to finish the credits, I'll sing this song.
All right, so it is I, Big B's again, your wonderful commentator of 3. You can catch me on my channel, Big_B's, or on Twitter at BigB's_. I love shouting people out, spreading the love, networking with everybody, because I mean, everybody I've met so far online has just been fantastic. So I just want to keep that train going. You can catch me on Saturdays on RF Chaos with this wonderful, fantastic individual here, Ruby Hart, as we play a masked game. Fantastic game. You can also catch me on my channel during the week as I play horror games or random indie games. And you can also catch me on podcast, either on Iron Edda Reforged or on the One Shot Network. So just, yeah, follow my stuff and I'll let you know where I am.
Heck yeah. And then Dan?
Yeah, hey everyone again. Once again, I'm Dan Pyun. I am a performing artist, musician, and a streamer. I run my streams on the weekends. I'm a Let's Play streamer, so games that I've never played before for the first time. Usually things from like 5-10 years ago that I missed the whole thing on. Friday nights I do Hades runs because I'm trying to learn how to speed run that. Saturday nights I'll do something stabby or shooty, like a first person or Oblivion or something like that. And Sunday nights I do narrative games, specifically Don't Nod games, the Life is Strange series, for example. And I'm currently just started Vampire, which is their most recent one. But other than that, I do music, and I am a Dungeons & Dragons player and Dungeon Master. I run a D&D themed TikTok for 5e where I talk about character builds, or which of your favorite spells are war crimes. You can find me on all social medias as Dampyeon, just all together, spelled like it's right there. And I'm just a huge fan of nerd content, superheroes, DC, old video games. Ocarina of Time is probably my personal favorite, and you can catch me geeking about them forever.
Agreed. It's so good.
Oh,
It's so good.
just incredible. But yeah, that's me.
And Steven.
All right, let's do this one last time. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Dewey. Stephen with a PH. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Stephen Dewey. I am a variety streamer with a focus, as I mentioned earlier, on multiplayer games. So that's looking like every Tuesday night we do a social deduction game night called Trader Tuesdays. I play with a big Discord of amazing folks. We play games like Among Us, Push the Button, and another game called Blood on the Clock Tower, which is like the best version of the game Werewolf and Mafia ever. It's definitely worth tuning in for, and that's every Tuesday night. I also stream on Sunday mornings with the one and only Ruby Hart. We have a 2-player co-op stream day called Sunday Squad, where which is always incredibly wholesome and incredibly fun. We've played through games like Shovel Knight, Cuphead, Haven, the 2-player version of Untitled Goose Game. We're about to start the game It Takes Two in just a couple weeks, so that's always a blast. And I'm setting up a new stream to take place on Saturday mornings, which is all big multiplayer games, like 3 or more players. I believe the first game we're going to be starting out with is a horror survival game called The Forest, and there's going to be a whole bunch of us on there. So if you like multiplayer games, definitely check me out. I am also, in addition to being a streamer, I'm an independent tabletop role-playing game designer. So you can find out all of that stuff online. I also run and DM games professionally. So if you're interested in any of my other stuff, you can probably find most of my links via my Twitter account, which is @ShiftyGinger, or just come and poke at me on stream if you have any questions about anything, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. But that's me.
Heck yeah. And Steven, actually, question, can you join me in person in the other room to help with the claps for the song?
Oh, geez, I haven't practiced the claps, but I will happily come and join you.
I will show you the beginning of the claps. I literally am going to do a demonstrate, and then I just need you to take over the claps. That's it.
Put on the spot.
Steven has a degree in music. They'll be fine. He'll be fine.
As Steven makes his way there, let's just, everybody in chat, can you all just show unbelievable amounts of love and hype for how gosh dang great and amazing my fellow commentators have been, and how wonderful our fantastic speedrunner here has been tonight.
This is Steven.
Hello.
And do not forget to give credit to the lore master bard of Horse and Grass, Big B's themselves.
Yes, exactly. Y'all were amazing. Thank you so much for being my couch. And for the song, are you ready? So it's just... So just keep that up. Do you think you can manage that?
Yes.
Okay. This is the life, go, 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 go. This is the life, go, 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 go. This is the life, go, 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 go. Gotta go fast. Practice every morning, just hope you can wake up. Praying to get up, PB, so you can raise a cup. And if you make a small mistake, hold yourself back so you don't hit reset. Wow, weird glitch. Do you want to start the claps again? That was an actual weird glitch in the song. Okay, so.
Weird glitch.
Revolving door roommates, prick up your ears. Wait, no. Runners. Why do I not know how to do this? Hang on, this is the other weird glitch. All right, hang on. We're gonna rewind. So, yeah, just keep it going. Revolving door runners, prick up your ears. Raced 11 people in just 2 years. Tic Tac, Foxy, Jira, Stocky, Sean, and Aiden, JK, Church Neo. Wait, Church Neo is now going by Gooper Man. Fat Mike, Tizzle, Static, Joker, Temporal, and Sable. And that's just Shadow, let alone other games on the table. Don't forget Sancho, Papa, every day. Runner of Eco and a friend to us, hey. The time is flying, pandemic has me crying. I thought by now I'd be a Twitch partner or wife. The ship is sort of sinking, so let's start drinking before we start thinking, is this the life? This is the life, go, 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 go. This is the life, go, 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 go. This is the life, go, 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 go. Gotta go fast, wah, wah, wah. Gotta go fast, woo. Gotta go fast, go, 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 go.
Well, we did it.
So that's the song we sing traditionally if it seems like it's gonna be a PB.
Can I say, like, as an elder theater kid, like, it brings me so much joy to see Tick Tick Boom finally getting love and recognition. Because like,
seriously,
I swear I was that kid in college that was like, this is the Jonathan Larson musical that everyone should be listening to. And they're like, I want to do Rent. And I'm like, no.
See, here's the thing. A lot of my formative queer experience was finding out that the LGBTQ plus community existed through Rent. But now that I know about Tick Tick Boom, like, knowing what I do about Jonathan Larson and just his tragic death right before Rent opened on Broadway, seeing that show and just so much of what made him tick as an artist was so incredible. I really want to see a stage production of it. I had only heard of Tick Tick Boom through people briefly mentioning it in conversation, but my first exposure was when Ingy, one of the moderators of my channel, we sat down one day for a Crystal Crew movie night and watched that as the movie, and I sobbed like 4 times. It's so good.
The Andrew Garfield one?
Yeah, the Andrew Garfield one. It actually is fantastic.
Oh, well, I believe that.
Okay.
Because I'm low-key an Andrew Garfield simp, and I have been for some time.
He's really good. Like, he's so good. Apparently, during the first time that Andrew sang in front of Lin-Manuel Miranda, Lin stopped him and was like, whoever in life told you you couldn't do things was wrong. Yeah, and tell me like, where they are. Like,
did he like throw a shoe in front of him when he did that?
Yes!
He was like,
yes, just like threw a shoe, just like, babe. Don't do this to yourself, which, oh God.
Like Andrew Garfield has, I'm one of the hipsters who liked The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when it came out. I'm that hipster, and I will talk your ears off about it if anyone ever gives me like any space to do so. But it is just like seeing that and seeing him and Tick Tick Boom both like get their sort of resurgence recently. I'm like, this is an upswing. This is a good thing.
So Dan, you know how much of a critic I am about musical theater, about movies, about everything.
I do.
Tick Tick Boom is my favorite movie adaptation of a musical since Chicago.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the kind of high praise I'm going to give it. And okay, we're about to get the IGT.
So Ruby, what is your PB?
Yeah.
And what is your PB, just so we kind of know going in?
My PB in game time is 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 34 seconds. That is the time I am looking to beat here.
We have received some requests in chat. Some people are in the middle of like a 6-ad break, so leave the time up for just a little bit so they can celebrate with you afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
Someone in chat just said, wasn't Andrew Garfield also a U.S. president? Not quite, but.
Okay, so we're gonna, I will say, before we look at the time, if it's under 110, if it's 110 or lower, I'm happy.
Heck yeah.
So no matter what, we're happy. If it's a PB, amazing. If not, we'll still be happy with that. So.
Here you go, drum roll.
All right.
no, okay, but
But 110
107.52. That's an incredible time. Yeah, so that's still an absolutely amazing time for the chart. And thank you all so much again. Tippy, thank you so much for inviting me. This was an absolute blast. So, and expect that you will probably be seeing submissions from me for as a Summer Games Done Quick hopeful.
Oh yeah, I hope to see you there, Ruby. But yeah, I had mentioned it a couple of times in the chat. But if you enjoyed this run, please follow Ruby and our wonderful commentators. That's Big B's, Dan, and Steven. I have all the links in the chat. So make sure you hit up their chats and say hello. But yeah, that's gonna, I guess, wrap it up for tonight's episode of Time Capsule. It was a damn good one. I had fun. So yeah, we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for being here. I've been your host, Smooth Operative. Take it easy. Have a great rest of your day or night.